Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor Leagues. My name is Eric Desarex Patran, my co-caster, Dean Rebel Fox Merrick. And Fox, it's a brand new season. Game of Thrones is gone, but UML Spring 2019 is here, and we'll be kicking it off with Galaxy Gaming versus VLASMR. How are you feeling about these upcoming weeks of war?
I'm really hoping they're a lot better than that Game of Thrones final, at least. So I would expect that to be the case. These are always competitive teams, and new season brings a bunch of new stuff to watch. So I'm super excited.
The shade thrown instantly, without hesitation, but to give our viewers an idea of what's going to go on in this tournament, there are 32 teams put into 4 groups for 7 weeks of play in the regular season. After those 7 weeks are done, there'll be 4 weeks of playoffs to fight over a $1,000 prize pool. The thing that sets UML apart from UPL and UCL is UML has an average solo queue ranking of Plat 3 to Diamond 4. So now these teams that are about to go at it right now, Galaxy Gaming versus VLASMR. Is there anything you really know about these teams, Rebel Fox? How you feeling about this?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research into at least some of the solo queue stuff. It seems to me like Galaxy, what you see with some of the name cohesion here with the GLX tag ahead of everybody's names. They also really like to play the pure 5v5. They're a team that likes to play together, at least from what I can see. On the opposite side, their top laner, he likes to play some of these team fight champions as well. But to me, I suspect more of a 4-1 style, at least over the course of the season, from the side of Chosen VLASMR. So hopefully we'd see that kind of thing come out, but certainly we should be down to see some good team fights between these teams to kick it off.
And of course, we are now playing on a new patch. It is patch 9.9 that just came out this week. There were some minor changes, but some pretty good ones on top of that. And what we are seeing is there's a lot of focus when it comes to these patch notes over changing what is being maxed. We've been seeing it with the whole Soraka thing, where in 9.8 they changed how what ability to max. It was supposed to be Q rather than pressive E. We're seeing a lot of changes with those types of champions. But before we really get into that, we do got to mention Champ Select is going on. Galaxy on the blue side, Chosen on the red side. The draft is underway.
Yeah, another interesting thing is that Yumi did actually come out this week. I'm curious to see whether any support picks are up. There's been a bunch of memes and jokes about how powerful she is, 29% win rate at the beginning, but certainly a champion that I think can be successful. We'll just have to see whether or not that comes out here. Sorry,
there one ban going to be missed. Waiting for the next man to go through. It's going to be Vladimir. Chosen VLASMR. Not going to play Vladimir.
We got to see whether VLASMR actually wanted to ban something or not. So I assume they wanted to ban something. Oh, it says they did miss 3 bans. I'm assuming for substitutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right.
So is there anything with this new 9.9 patch that you think is going to pop out? Of course, one of my favorite changes personally was Master Yi's Alpha Strike can now single target attack something, which means faster clears in the jungle, more damage to some of those targets you go after without any minions nearby.
Yeah, it's interesting because he, with that Q change with some of those things, and then also with the, attack speed, being taken out of his kit at least a little bit, coupled with the Rage Blade nerfs, I expect to see him as more of a burst and crit champion as opposed to this, attack speed on-hit monster that we've seen. I think that actually helps him. If he wants to build Warrior and then build into crit in the earlier stages of the game, I do think that helps him out, but he requires lanes to build around him. He needs things to gank in order to, kind of get him ahead. And, he can't power farm to the level he used to be able to on that attack speed build. So, he's not super reliable, but certainly is one of these champions that can take off if they give him the right resources.
Now one more missed ban to go. Morgana taken off the map on the side of Galaxy. Chosen. Can't ban a single thing. GLX gonna go for that power pick at the start. Lots of options on the table. The Hecker, Rek'Sai, Thresh, of course. Also a good first pick. If you want to take that diverse support, and it's going to be locked in.
Yeah, big skeggy champion right there. That's pure comfort for him. Something curious about both these teams is a lot of their players actually play very similar champ pools. I assume that's why they're target banning things like the Vladimir, the Morgana, the Pyke, because their players don't play those. But if they ban anything else bigger in the champ pool or more common in the champ pool, they're banning themselves out. And since Chosen missed 3, they can target ban a lot more. That's why we're seeing things like that. Thresh coming out to pure comfort. We see Hecarim Galio from Chosen.
Yeah, so we're seeing that kind of vicious engage already come out from the side of Chosen. The Onslaught of Shadows plus the hero's entrance, they work in tandem together sometimes if you can set it up properly, get towards that backline and get the full knockup. Now it's on Galaxy to find a good response to this very heavy engage that Chosen are going for, and Looks like they're going to go for the top lane, Renekton, the lane bully himself.
Yeah, from Galaxy, this is pure comfort already, especially if Ivern's locked in. These players love to play. Like, Renekton's, I think, top played champion for that top lane. Garo plays a ton of Ivern, top played champion for Skeggy's Thresh as well. Galaxy's coming out. They want to play exactly the champions they do, and I'm assuming they're working on it together as a team, so this should be fun to watch.
Yeah, but going for all this comfort, at least so far, there's not too much synergy going on. I do see a potential to absolutely devastate the top lane, especially if Chosen get in a situation where they're kind of stuck putting the Hecarim out there. As you know, Hecarim's tool to get into a fight is the same tool he uses to get out, so let's be careful with that one. But next stage of the draft goes through. Victor locked in on the side of Chosen. Maokai going to be bound away.
Oh, not quite. Looks like they shifted it to Caitlyn.
Oh.
Maybe.
Tricking me?
I don't know what's there it is. Okay, it is Caitlyn. Yeah.
It feels overall like the better band to go after the ADC pool, which has been shrinking as of lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Some nerfs to some ADCs coupled with more buffs, some assassins getting some more play. It's just still difficult to play AD carry. Coupled with the fact that with the Thresh and the Ivern, if they want to take something more damagey in the mid lane, they're running the risk of having a very not successful team composition. So you really want high damage out of your bot lane carry. I think they could run a 4-1 where you protect your AD carry with things like the Renekton and the Thresh. The Thresh and the Ivern. Let Renekton split on a side lane and then just protect a singular carry. Caitlyn and Sivir would have been great options for Fluid to play in this composition, but unfortunately now that they're taken away, Ezreal, Tristana are the next two I'd expect them to go for.
Instead, over and over, Galaxy looking to take out the Silas. Ezreal definitely getting much more popular, even though his popularity always waves, it always goes back up there. Varus is another one that some people tend to sleep on and some people tend to love in the competitive scene. So it is available there with that pool being so choked out. Chosen, one more pick to go before they
I
get
would see Lucian here. That would be our expectation. Alright, it's gonna be Jinx. They're gonna make me look the fool. That's what they're gonna do.
Jinx, get excited. This is screaming team fight to me so far from the side of Chosen, and they're also getting a bit of lane priority with the way their draft is going. It still depends on a few more picks from Galaxy, but they're going with the Vigar. Completely out of the meta. They don't even care about the meta. They care about comfort. Callista locked in for Galaxy.
That they do. Yeah, that's really interesting team composition. They have quite a bit of zone control. Things like the Thresh, the Vigar, even the Callista can pull people in and out of fights, so it's interesting what they've built. But again, not tons of cohesion. This isn't a composition you'd see and you go, oh, here's exactly how they win. The opposite side, as you said, team fight being built. Jinx, Victor, insane late game carries. Hecarim, very early game focus. Now Corki as well.
Okay, we are getting some word right now. Twitch chat got it before us. We should have paid attention to the other chat, but Victor is Maokai. So that was unfortunately a pro draft little bug going on, but Victor will be Maokai, which means the composition drafted by side of Chosen will be Hecarim, Galio, Maokai, Jinx, and Corki. So you have a very buff front line right there that just screams, let the AD carries do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, yeah, having that buff front line, you have quite a bit of CC as well with the Maokai, the Galio. It's all AoE as well. The one question mark I do have is Hecarim. Hecarim's more of a diver. I don't think it works into Vigar Callista, but certainly early game, if you really want to put focus on this mid and bot side of the map, you can do that. Try to get this Jinx and Corki going very, very early. That should help out this team fight composition in an attempt to get those two scaled up very fast.
Yeah, but you do got to remember that there were nerfs going on to Hecarim that were in 9.8, I believe, that took off a lot of the base damage when you start scaling up his charge, as well as halving the bonus damage that you would get from stacking up your Q, which actually makes it top off at 10%, where it was at 20% before.
It does make it a little bit more difficult, especially to duel with Hecarim in the jungle. His ganking potential in the early game is still insanely high, and even with Conqueror and your Q stacking, it's still very difficult to fight him. But he's certainly not that powerhouse that we saw from the last couple patches, where you're just running people down and 1v5ing in every single team fight.
I mean, on the side of Galaxy, we do have to ask the way this team is going to work together, is going to come together as a cohesive unit, because it just feels they're going for a solo queue playstyle. They want to feel the waters outright and see if they could win the old-fashioned way.
Absolutely. And again, with a Callista, this still is a possibility of playing this 4-1 style. Renekton can sit in a side lane, then Ivern, Thresh, Vigar, tons of zone control to keep this Galio, keep this Hecarim, keep this Maokai away from Kalista. Let her kite around to fight. The one thing is, like, Kalista isn't this massive late game carry. She's not the Jinx. She's not even like the Corki. She is more of an early game champion, more of a mid game champion, and can secure objectives. So it's a little surprising to see that as the pickup for the AD carry position, but they can still make the idea work. They just have to win a little bit faster, especially into something like Jinx Corki.
Yeah, and then of course you have the Ivern we were just mentioning. The Ivern is such a question mark from player to player. Either it could be the most beautiful thing that sets up the most complementary dives possible, or it feeds, and you feel bad for watching it.
Yeah, unfortunately also, the majority of the time you do see it feed. But when a champion, or when somebody's able to bring it out to massive success, it is incredible to watch. And I think with some of the changes they've been making to the jungle, where it's a little slower to get to Scuttle Crabs, I think he's very, very beneficial. I think his gank are pretty strong if you're able to land Qs, land Es, that kind of thing. I think his pathing is very, very versatile, and it makes him very dangerous in the jungle at the moment. His one thing is being invaded by something like this Hecarim is, a very, very heavy weakness. It's something you can attack, but since Hecarim's nerfs, obviously he isn't this massive duelist that we've seen before, so hopefully Garo's able to take this Ivern and absolutely just control this map and take them into the mid game with some success.
And it's very practical too, because as of 9.8, 3:15 is now the spawn time for Scuttle Crab. So this allows junglers to go for level 3 paths before they actually go for Scuttle. It also allows for teams to get a setup around Scuttle Crab to potentially set up counterplays around Scuttle Crabs to get a double Scuttle for one of the junglers. So there's all kinds of strategy that can go around the jungle now. And if you're going to pick Ivern, I feel like now is a good time to go for it.
Yeah, and I do think with at least his side lanes, he has pressure. So you're talking this Kalista Thresh and the Renekton both have priority over the Maokai, and then the Jinx, and I forget what the last champion was. Hold on, the Galio. I do think they have pressure in those side lanes. So when he does want to come in and does want to try to compete for some of these, Scuttle Crabs, he's not going to have this massive issue where his side lanes are constantly pushed in and he has to overextend for them. He has these side lanes with Kalista Thresh and Renekton, where if he needs them, he can call for their attention. So there's that. I do think this is a very early game focused composition, and Vygar's kind of their one ticket in the late game. But certainly, if played properly, I think they can get out to an early lead and they can have some success in this game.
So we're going to throw it over to a break in just a moment, but let us know in chat who you think is going to win. Will it be Team Galaxy or will it be Team Chosen? But before we throw it over to break, our Leagues at Upsurge would not be possible without our sponsor, Kono. Kono is here to help you discover new products that match your interests and suit your lifestyle. They collab with the world's best designers, investors, and makers to, make cool stuff a reality. Kono has also generously contributed to many of our prize pools. Check out all of their products over at kono.store. We'll be right back with the first match of Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming. back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor Leagues week number 1. Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming is week number 1. You always want to start off strong. You never want to have all those defeats racked in early on and have to fight your way into playoffs tooth and nail. These early wins mean so much.
Yeah, you want to set the precedent that you are a strong team in the league, and this is one of the best ways to do it, is taking one over your opposition early. It also gives you a little momentum coming into the start of the season. It makes you a team to be feared, kind of gets fans behind you. That's what you guys in Twitch chat are for, us to support some of these winning teams.
And speaking of fear, K9 is a man I know to have what I would call a champion ocean instead of a champion pool. Very diverse kit, but he's always pulling off weird things. And this time, there's going to be no ghost. There's going to be no flash. He's going for the ignite on Hecarim. He's going very lethal in these ganks.
Yeah, really wants to get these ganks off early. Again, this is all about getting the Corki and the Jinx ahead. So if this ignite gets him some of these eliminations, even if it is at the cost of his own life because he has no flash, he's going to absolutely take that trade. If Corki Jinx get ahead, it's going to be massive for the state of the game.
So getting a little of that cheeky poking in.
A little bit stacking too. This is a Vygar.
Yeah. It is a good start. Junglers looking to start both on the red side. Definitely want to see the pathing that comes out of K9 because I don't expect him to go Krugs or anything like that. I expect him to go a very fast gank route since he is taking that ignite. He does want to start snowballing ASAP.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Also starters on his red buff, so you'd expect to see him gank towards the spot side or the mid side. Again, you want to hit Corki or you want to hit Jinx, so putting himself in the opportunity to do that is exactly what we'd expect. Right now, they have a slightly pushing lane here on the bot side, and I don't expect that to stay. Yeah, this is still going to equalize. But yeah, I would expect this to push for the side of Galaxy, and so Hecarim's probably going to look bot lane to try to gank this Kalista early.
Oh yeah, and it is pushing in quite quickly. K9 would be in the right place, right time. And on the top lane, Dio gonna fight it out with this Renekton. Not much gonna come out of that. Still keeping eyes on K9 though. He is clearing out that blue buff. Waiting to set up that gank, but the ward has been placed by Skeggy. So there will be a little bit of notice once he starts coming into the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they're pushed mostly under their tower. Ivern's still in the area. I doubt that gank would be insanely successful, even if the Hecarim was able to get through it completely unwarded. Does look like Ivern's trying to set up some forward vision. He might be able to catch the Hecarim out before he comes down to contest the scuttle. And again, his Thresh, his Kalista are the ones that are closer, so they absolutely have priority to help him out here if he wants to commit for the scuttle.
Yeah, but instead, it looks like K9 wants to go for the gank. Headed towards the bot side. That speed boost going. Devastating charge gets thwarted by one simple flay, and that's it. The gank's over.
Yeah, unfortunately, as you said, they have priority. They put that ward down. They must have known, so he activates the E just about as far out as he can get. Doesn't quite get in auto range, so doesn't get the massive charge off. And, nothing gained, nothing lost off that gank. You just got to try a little bit as the Hecarim.
So now, just going to clear out the Scuttle Crab. It's going to be 1-1 apiece. CZ Garo will be able to get the top side Scuttle Crab, while K9 gets the bot side, but he's also looking for a gank in the mid lane. Garo might be looking for it as well. Instead, Garo's going deeper just for the sake of vision, but still standing there. K9 wants to find the gank. He's going to start clopping on to the mid lane. Wants to get that knockback and going to get just that onto Dia Roll. Dia Roll takes a lot of damage, but not too much to make it anything lethal. We'll be able to walk away just fine.
Yeah, right now this Hecarim not able to find anything significant at the moment. Didn't burn summoners either bot or mid, so the Hecarim pick does need to be super active this early. Doesn't need to be massive right now. Certainly these ganks have to start working, sometime in the next 5-10 minutes. Otherwise, again, you run the risk of having this losing mid game with the Kalista on the opposite side, with the Spygar, with the Renekton especially. So, K9 really has to start working a little harder to try and get these to work. Maybe he needs more creative pathing or deeper wards to try to get him better flank routes here.
And we're also talking about the tools to get in are the same tools to get out. Now that he has Ignite instead of Flashed, that is painfully true. So if he doesn't start getting a lead right now, once he starts going into these fights, he's dedicated. That could be the end of his life right there to pick up a kill, and who knows, maybe the fight could turn around in an instant if he doesn't get the items to start bringing the damage to those fights.
Absolutely. Even funnier is that Garo on the opposite side, he goes for these boots of mobility that allow him to just zoom around this map as fast as he wants. Should be able to clear out camps pretty fast with this passive of his. And then, of course, he can counter gank the Hecarim if he's able to catch him in the right positions. He knows where he wants to go. He wants to go to this bot and mid side of the map, try to get his carries ahead. So just stick around that area if you are the Ivern. You're going to be able to counter these ganks.
You're starting to see so much pressure applied in the top side as well. The CS differential is starting to stack up now. There's not much you can really do when you're a mana-based tank in the early game against something like a Renekton, who starts to turn on once he gets all three of his skills. He already starts going into that bully mode.
Yeah, he's terrifying already. Both of them also have TP too, so Maokai can't even look to have good back timings to get an item advantage early, so he can have some armor, so he can take some of these duels. The Renekton can just respond immediately and absolutely devastate him, so he has to stay way longer than he would normally have to in this matchup.
And if this continues, around level 6, you should expect Garo to set up a tower dive on this top side. It'd be far too easy with how much pressure being played by Fachimort, who is going to take the recall now. Has quite a bit of gold in his pocket, about 1,500. Here's see what he'll go for first, if he's going to go for the Black Cleaver build, or rather get the Tiamat, get the lane pushing going.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be interesting to see where he wants to go with something like that. The hook bot lane, not going to amount to much, though.
Yeah, really amounts into a negative gain at this point. Skeggy taking a load of damage off an initiation he chose to go in for.
Yeah, well actually played, I think, by King's Landing. What happened is the Aftershock procced off of the Thresh's hook instead of proccing off of the Flay, and so the Aftershock was gone by the time they got to return damage, whereas King's Land, he was able to get his right as the damage started coming in, so much better for the side of the Jinx and the Galleon.
Oh, but there comes another death sentence followed by a double taunt. Double B in the back, able to get a lot of damage in, but Ignite will go through. Fluid tries to find the Rend, will not take down Kingsland, but that is the Summoner burnt for Summoner. Heal for Ignite going in the bot lane.
Yeah, this is actually kind of scary right now because the Jinx does have this BF sword, makes it difficult to do mid lane here.
Ooh. Here's a lot of difficulties right here. The snare goes through as well as the ultimate, but Lurson will not go down. Able to burn his flash in the Valkyrie to stay safe, but that's already a warning shot coming through from Dia-Roll and how much damage a Veigar can bring to a fight.
Yeah, little actually, I think minor misplay there by Dia-Roll. I think he could have auto-attacked and tried to get closer to that Corki before casting some of the rest of his abilities. He used W and ultimate before trying to get closer, and the flash allowed him, Lurson, to try to get away, and it did lead to him surviving. He did burn his flash and the TP to try to get back. Oh, my apologies, the TP was already down, but still, well played by them. They got to take advantage of that, though.
That sentence going through, no fight. Gonna come on, but it's a very active bot lane thus far. Skeggy has been throwing those death sentences, and Kingsland has been responding with taunt after taunt after taunt. Eventually, something's got to give. I think this is the lane the First Blood really does come out of, especially with K9, who's already headed to this direction. Kingsland tries to find the taunt. Will be able to get it. K9 going deep. Out comes the zap. K9 does have that ignite. Keep a close eye on it, but out comes the death sentence. It's going to land on the Kingsland. Kingsland running critically low, barely able to walk away. Garo's going to show up to the fight as well. K9 having to use the onslaught of shadows to run away, but flashing forward. Fluid able to take down Kingsland, and out comes the death sentence. Looks like Double B is going to go the way of his ally. Daisy getting a lot of autos onto Double B, but backup comes just in time. Lurson showing up to the fight, but in the top lane, Fachimort able to take down Dio.
Yeah, really good start to that play. Again, Ivern on this counter gank to K9 trying to force something there. Instead, Thresh was able to keep them away long enough for Fluid to put enough spears into the Galio and take him down. And of course, Fachimort able to get this solo kill in the top lane. This is the Renekton bullying out the tank Maokai, able to put out the damage, able to get that advantage for himself early. This is now 2,000 gold on the side of Galaxy. This is the early game you want to have. You want to try to shut down the Hecarim, and they're doing that very, very well right now. Now the Callista has a lead with that early kill, and the Renekton has a lead. Those are your two big proponents for this mid game that they absolutely need to have success in.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to mention. Took the words out of my mouth. Talking about those lead. Look at that gold allocation. About 1.3k in the favor of Fachimort in the top lane. Meanwhile, Fluid having about 500 gold in favor of his counterpart Double B. But Fachimort is the one you want to watch because, the Renekton, he spikes early, he gets going early, and he's already picked up a solo kill.
He has to be careful a little bit with some of those trades. Right there, he used his Q. That proc Aftershock makes it difficult for him to survive some of these extended trades. You see Garo being flanked by Larson here.
Coming in, Death Sentence gonna land onto Double B as well as the box, trying to flash away, waiting for the Ren to go through. Fluid will be able to acquire the gold of that kill and walk away feeling proud as once again the bot lane of Chosen is just not showing.
Yeah, well played there. Again, that was just a well executed thresh hook. The Halo Blades closed up with 3 spears into that Jinx before she even had a chance. So that was just really well done. Again, they have the stronger bot lane right now. They're taking advantage of it, getting some turret plates here. There was a little aggression top lane. Garo did have to burn his flash, but they were able to get out of it without losing anything. So again, Galaxy playing really clean right now.
Ooh, but wait, Kingsland might be able to turn this around. Wants to pick up a kill before he goes down. Kingsland getting critically low. Rocket will not land, but Kingsland still gets the double kill at the cost of his life. A worthy trade. Double B gonna get some free farm.
Yeah, absolutely. Double B. You know, he does need it to help him get back into the lane. I think Kalista picked up both kills over the exchange of that bot lane. Galio getting 2 isn't horrible, but certainly having 3 on the Kalista is beneficial. Again, Jinx scaling, trying to wait, but once this Blade of the Rune King is done, Kalista is going to be terrifying for this team to deal with.
But they can't continue to make mistakes like that. That is hubris that can cost them in the long run. But here comes a gank in the mid lane. Lurson waiting very patiently before using that Valkyrie to get out of the baby cage. Still, Dragon still up. 11 minutes in, it is a Cloud Drake. No one willing to go towards that area just yet. Not really valuing that Cloud Drake. It's a little bit underrated, my friend. Come on, Fox. You gotta like Cloud Drake every now and then.
And it's actually it's scary how good both of these teams are with it. You're talking like Maokai and Hecarim have like direct, and then you're even talking like Galio can use it with that W that he uses, and then like Kalista benefits from it, Ivern benefits from it, Thresh benefits. Like there's so many champions that are so good with Cloud Drake in this game. It's scary that neither one of them has put any effort into taking it.
Now the top lane, Fachimort proc that demolition and find himself another 160 gold going soul into the pockets of Fachimort. Only 2 more minutes remain until these plates start coming off, and that's when we get towards that mid game. That's when you're going to start seeing Team Galaxy start to turn on and their gold leads start to make a difference.
Yeah. So there's 2 things that I can see Galaxy trying to attempt for here. It does look like they have plenty of vision on the bot side of the map. They could definitely look to prioritize for this Cloud Drake with the pushing bot lane. The other thing I could see is if they want to put pressure top side, they can bring Vygar up with this Renekton pick, try to get the Rift Herald and bust top tower in the next 2 minutes, but they need to make that decision very fast because those plates are going to be gone. That's a lot of gold you can pick up.
Yeah, that's first brick just waiting to happen, and Shelly should be able to take that out in just 1 charge. But not heading in that direction. Garo is just clearing out more of his jungle and then will take the recall. Meanwhile, K9 also clearing out more of his jungle, really not making much of his presence known in this fight so far, despite taking that ignite that we've been just stuck on for the longest time.
Yeah, again, he had a little, like, couple really successful starting ganks. Oh, nice hook!
Oh, no, the Dead Sentence lands onto Double B, but able to use the heal to get some movement speed to back off. Kingsland is now taking a lot of damage, but here comes the teleport, the tree waiting to show up. The Crocodile looking to make his appearance as well. Twisted Advance going forward. Here comes the hero's entrance, looking to find a double knockup, but Fachimort is fighting in the front line. Dia roll will find 1 kill. Onslaught of Shadows from K9, looking to get to the back line. Healthful is not big enough to deal with the arrows coming out of Fluid as he throws arrow after arrow, try to stay alive, but Rockets are gonna find more success than that. Dio roll will take down Dio in the process. Lurson trying to run for his life. The snare is just waiting to go through. He's not long for this world. Fluid will take him down, and Galaxy able to fight the team fight, win 2 for 4.
Yeah, finding a lot of kills here onto Fluid, doing really well on the Kalista pick. You see a pause here come out. Again, really, really well-played fight from Galaxy. They kept Fluid and Dio roll in the very, very back. They used this Renekton and this Thresh to zone very, very well. Let Kalista bounce around the outside, put so many spears into the opposition. They just destroyed that fight. And again, this Kalista is getting very ahead. If she gets to 2-3 items well before Jinx, those fights go very, very heavily the way of Galaxy.
And you're also seeing what happens when a Hecarim, especially with the summoner spell that he's gone that we keep harping on, we see what a Hecarim what happens to a Hecarim when they're not able to get those early kills and get that itemization to support their team fighting, to support how far they go into the backline. Even though he was able to get a kill and affect the team fight, it was Fluid who was free to just be on the backline and do as he saw fit and pretty much annihilate the squad of Chosen.
Yeah, I'm not sure using that Hecarim as just like a pure dive bomb 1v1 trader in some of these fights is super beneficial for the side of VLASMR. I do think it's difficult for them to continue to find success, at least until late game for that champion. This is really the worst part of the game for Hecarim to play. If he's behind in the mid game, he just gets absolutely trampled. He can't dive in fights. He has to find success in pure team fights where he gets assists, able to rack up kills off the back of some other damage. But again, with this Jinx and with this Corki, they need time to scale up, so he's not going to find those opportunities very easily. So these kills are going to become more and more scarce as the game continues, at least till late game, when he just has to basically zone for the Corki and Jinx.
Yeah, I mean, we are about to get to those major item points where the team composition just spikes in its potency. Taking a look at Fachimort, he's only just, let's see how much gold. He already has enough gold to complete that Black Cleaver on his next recall. Meanwhile, taking a look at Fluid, enough gold to complete the Blade of the Ruined King. Two very potent mid-game items that start amplifying your damage by quite a bit. Dia Roll should be completing that Luden's Echo as well. And the more gold and the more kills and the more farm of Igar coming quite early.
Yeah, and what I'd really like to see is them push down for this bot side tower. And then I want to see a very early Baron attempt from this team. If you see this Baron attempt from the Kalista, the Vigar, and then what's really important is the Ivern. Ivern can keep this team very healthy around the Baron pit. They have the ability to take it very, very early. And so you put pressure in that pit. At that time, Kalista might have Runeins. And if you run into Runeins, Kalista with a Jinx that does not have that matching Runeins, your team fight is absolutely, it has nothing behind it. There is no meat on the bones of that skeleton of a fight. So that's what I think Galaxy needs to look for. They try to get this bot tower, put Renekton bot lane, and then around the 20-minute mark, look for that fight when Fluid will have this rune ends up, and I think they can take complete control of the game.
So Fox, it is finally done. 14 minutes, 20 seconds into the game. The Cloud Drake was finally taken. At long last. One Drake down. Next one to spawn will be an Ocean Drake. Not as much of a contested Drake when it comes to the mid game. Definitely a viable Drake as you start stacking them up, and especially when you get that Elder.
I feel like everybody gives credit to Ocean Drake. They're always like, oh, it's the best early game Drake. But, like, Cloud Drake is amazing. Cloud Drake, it gives you flat movement speed and combat move. Like, how are people dissing on Cloud Drake? Ocean Drake, past, like, 10, 15 minutes in most composition, does almost nothing. It's frustrating. Yeah. Poor Cloud Drake.
Poor Cloud Drake, indeed. Going back into pretty much a laning phase. Not willing to go to that mid game just yet, as first brick has been taken. Both of these teams look to match up with each other. So far, Team Galaxy is getting the better of this, having about a 3K lead and able to hold total control of these lanes. But a neutral objective starting to be pinged out from the side of Chosen. Will be, oh, double B in the bot side will get taken down by Fluid. Kingsland trying to run away, waiting for that death sentence to go through. Instead, gonna use the Kalista ultimate, try and flay him away from the tower. A couple more spears to go in, but the Ren will not find the kill just yet. Still deep into that tower. Response can come out from the side of Chosen, but it's gonna be for a while. K9 just barely able to make the recall, but it does look like Kingsland will be able to escape, going deep into that bush to find his recall.
Yeah, they're trying to get him here. It doesn't look, the wave is under the tower, so they're able to cross through right now. Actually,
welcome to Vigar. All that can be said there.
It's terrifying. He only has the Ludens too. He has no pen yet, so it's just terrifying to see a Corki just get blown up like that. No Hex Drinker from him. He rushed pure into Trinity Force. The damage is there for the Corki, but obviously these defenses need to be there as well. Rift Herald also taken, now pushing down mid lane, and then top lane should go down as well. This has been a very strong, last few minutes here. They get bot tower, get an additional kill onto the Kalista. They're gonna look for mid tower, gonna look for top tower too.
And they can get another charge onto Shelly for the second mid tier. Now Fachimort fighting it out once again. Unfortunately, Shelly will fall. K9 having to use the Onslaught of Shadows to get out of the baby cage. Horizon not find them any more kills. Instead, looking to go for a rotation. Team Galaxy might go for the reset right here and start cashing in.
Yeah, absolutely. Galaxy, again, they took that 2,000 gold lead from the few fights to start this game. They take the Cloud Drake, and then they expand it into 2 towers. Just really, really well done. Ivern getting that Rift Herald, not quite getting the plates off but certainly getting that mid tower does unlock this team very, very well. The long lane also very good for this Renekton once he gets the Black Cleaver, just backcourt heading bot lane. And again, they're able to put their bot lane top, get that top tower, and again, they have the pressure around the Baron 20-minute mark. They can definitely look to team fight. Runin's already done for the Kalista as well, so this is exactly the recipe they need to follow if they want to win with this composition.
Yeah, but you are seeing that key item come through for Hecarim. K9 able to get that Trinity Force. And that is something that will amplify his damage quite a bit. If he can get onto the backline and have a little bit of time alone, he can get that kill. But the lockdown that comes out of the side of Team Galaxy to try and prevent K9 from deep diving that's a difficult pill to swallow.
Yeah, this is a very rough team comp that they've run because they had the expensive burst items. You see 2 Trinity Force and Infinity Edge for this team. All of their damage is in those 3 champions, all of them sitting on basically just the 1 item as well. So that's a hard thing to do, but they are now past it. So now that they can start building some of the cheaper items, hopefully they can start catching up in the game. They aren't down dramatically, and I think they have the better team composition for some of these 5v5s. So we have to see whether or not VLASMR is able to kind of adapt for this.
Yeah, you got to remember, it is a double support composition from Galaxy. Death Sentence over the wall will whiff. Double support means they have lots of base stats, but they don't really have as much scaling. They can take care of their carries, but that's pretty much it. You're depending on the damage of the carries alone, where on the side of Chosen, they have damage all over the place.
Yeah, it does make it difficult if you don't have tons of burst. To kill the opposing ADC, which is why Kalista, if she wants to go Bloodthirster, then she also has 2 different champions helping protect her, especially the Ivern with his shields and such. It makes it difficult for Jinx or for this Corki to do tons of damage to burst her out. That is what the Hecarim's for. If he wants to go Warrior, I would suggest it because he's their best bet to pop this Kalista in exactly 1 combo and try to take these fights immediately. That is the one caveat of having this Hecarim is if he's able to find this burst damage onto the Kalista, the team fight from the side of Galaxy basically collapses.
Well, this is where it gets kind of scary because Chosen are choosing to just stall out the game and play it very slowly, which doesn't necessarily stop the bleeding. It still allows Galaxy to grab a lot of these neutral objectives, and that's where my concern comes in. You can eventually outscale them, but the bleeding will still be there, and eventually it'll become too much if you don't start picking up at least minor objectives.
Yeah, now they're looking for Ocean Drake here. They do have pure dragon control. Again, the Renekton can sit on the top side with his TP. They can look to Baron. They have plenty of tools to control the state of the game right now. They're slow pacing it because I think they don't know where to attack at the moment. But certainly they have ways to kind of control this game in their favor, and that's what they're doing. They're taking away jungle camps, taking neutral objectives off the board. This is a very controlled game from Galaxy right now. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, but this is where it's kind of bothering me from Kingsland. We know that the squad of Galaxy is in the bottom jungle. We just saw them take Drake. Kingsland does need to put his attention towards that Baron area just a bit to get some vision there, because that is going to be highly contested vision as we start getting into later stages of this match, where Baron control is everything, and one Baron dance can mean the end.
Yeah, and you can see the vision on the top side of the map already set up around the Baron. They have pretty good vision in that area from the side of Galaxy, and no contest. Said they send all 5 to the bot lane here to try to prevent this push from happening. They are going to give up a little pressure around the Baron pit and earlier backs, but that will, at least they keep that bot lane up. I still want to see Renekton on the bottom side of the map. That's where he's going right now. He still has his TP. And I want to see, once Kalista ends this back, I want to see them really walk up and start to look around this Baron, really start to push their pressure in the area.
The rest of the squad of Chosen are now starting to head towards that Baron area, so some vision will be acquired, but that's only 1 control ward. Will not be long for this world, thanks to Garo. Will show up with the help of Skeggy. Slowly clear out those control wards, but that vision denial is so crucial at this stage of the game. The closer we get to 25 minutes, where Baron is more and more of a possibility as people itemize, and the speed of that take just continues to go up. Chosen desperately need control of this Baron area, at least in their jungle.
Yeah. Something else terrifying about this Galaxy comp is that with 2 supports, you have, some of the wording to work with, but without everybody there, it is harder to get it down. So if you're working with Thresh, Ivern, you can't really put deep vision in, but with all 4, like you see right now, and the Kalista, especially in the area, it's it's impossible to contest vision if you are on the side of VLASMR. So we have to see them, try to get backup vision on the back end of this. You see them clear that ward out. Renekton's still pushing bot. They certainly have the Baron pressure right now. Let's see if they want to press it.
At this point, having this amount of pressure and being this far ahead, I don't think it'd be too far off to just try and force the Baron with Fachemort there, just for the sake of taking the teleport off of Dio and setting up future split pushes. But they are starting the Baron, so that might become a reality right now.
Yeah, and Dio has to be very careful not to get his TP canceled, because if that TP gets canceled, they can immediately pull off the Baron. See wards go down here.
Yeah, Baby Cage goes out again. King's Lynn getting caught up, gets a 4-man taunt, but it's all going to be for naught. As he goes down, Fachemort only playing defense. He scares off the rest of the crew of Chosen VLASMR.
Yeah, they have pressure now on the Baron, though. Need to just go take it. They're right now 5v4. There's no support. A lot of their CC is taken out. The Jinx is still only on the 1 item. Corki only sitting on 1.5 right now. They got to take this advantage, get this Baron, and then start pushing for the base. See TP come out from Corki. They want to contest on the side of VLASMR.
All right, here we go. We're looking to go for the Baron steal. On the backside is K9, but the hook goes through. Fachemort annihilates him. Dio Roll will be the one to get the kill. The rest of the squad of Galaxy are just running Chosen out of this jungle. Fachemort with aggression, with authority, will reign supreme. Chosen, no idea what they can do to get out of this predicament, but they're gonna try and make something happen. They're going after Skeggy. Lurson trying to find auto number 2. Will get it. It's K9 who gets the kill. Dio gonna get rooted, and Chosen are finally desperately able to breathe and bully away Team Galaxy, who have been setting the tempo this entire game.
The Galaxy did an interesting Baron bait there. They did it twice. Were able to find kills off the back end of 2 really good hooks from Skeggy in both situations. But unfortunately, that's not a ton. They did lose some Baron pressure. Now, they can take some of this gold advantage. I got to give a lot of props to Skeggy. He's found so many hooks in this game that I just didn't know were going to happen. He's finding great engagements. He's been really good, especially for this mid-game, finding some of these picks. So keep it up. Once they get Baron pressure back, they need to go back and keep doing the exact same thing all over again.
Now Dio does have teleport advantage, so this is something that Chosen can work around to try and get themselves an advantageous fight. Next dragon to spawn will be that Infernal Drake, so it's time to start setting up for it. The team of Galaxy going to clear away that Scuttle Crab.
That's a little guaranteed vision for themselves. Yeah, it looks like they can't really do much. Ivern can't secure it at least because he's going to get interrupted, but they're able to get it with the rest of the team here. I mean, that's an Infernal Drake, dude. That's really good for this team.
Really good on Vigar as well. That's a Vigar with death cap, mind you, so we're adding to that 40% increase with a good old beefy 10% on top of it.
Yeah, we went for a very, very solo queue build here on the Vigar with the Ludens right into Rabadons and no completed boots yet, but certainly has the synergy of this Infernal Drake. I mean, I'm actually going to go scroll over and see what his AP is at this point.
It was 648, and it was 648 right before that, so it jumped by about 50.
God, that's so much. And again, he's literally on 2 items right now. He's not going to get less AP over the course of the game. He's going to keep getting more. That's a terrifying idea to deal with, is 1,000 AP Vigar about 30 minutes.
Yeah, once we get to the late game, his AP gets exponential. 1,000 and beyond, to infinity and beyond. Some Buzz Lightyear AP. As in the top lane, more bullying going on. Still trying to do the split push. Once again, Fachemort does not have teleport, so there is a teleport advantage towards the squad of Chosen.
Yeah.
But not a gold advantage, and that is what's making them suffer.
So here's an adaptation that I might actually enjoy seeing here. I don't think Maokai has any kill pressure onto Vigar, and he has no magic for this right now. So if he puts them in the side, if he puts Vigar in the side lane as opposed to this Renekton, there's more kill threat and probably more push pressure for the Vigar than there is actually the Renekton. Renekton can also frontline. Once he finishes this Spear of Shojin, and he starts ulting, he can absolutely become a force to be reckoned with. Very, very tanky, and has the CC with the W to still impact the team fights, plus the TP still on Deer roll. So I'd actually like to see them make that transition here.
If they do that, everything has to be committed quite quickly, though, because if a Vigar's left by himself in the solo lane, eventually it'll draw the attention of the rest of Chosen. You might be able to grab one, but he's not going to get them all. But here comes the gank on the top side. Lurson going straight after Fachemort, excuse me. But Dio will get the kill. Now the rest of the squad of Chosen VLASMR are going after Skeggy. Baron has been called, and teleport is going through. Dio looking to join the fight. Coming out of the jungle, it's the tree himself. Does not have his ultimate. He's kind of stuck there. HP started to get critically low, but he will be able to walk out. The rest of the squad did not notice that HP bar.
Yeah, is a little bit difficult to work with. Corki going bot lane I thought was a decent opportunity, but as you said, Dio kept that TP from the last time. Now when Renekton gets his up sometime in the next minute or so, that split push is going to become more dangerous. They can't run the play with Corki anymore where he roams down, gets that kill onto the Renekton, because if they do that, the Baron commit will just be instantaneous.
And you're starting to see some life out of Chosen as well. Their team comp does scale, and it is getting items. You can see Larson, Trinity Force, as well as Infinity Edge. Meanwhile, Double B finished his Runins to go with his Infinity Edge. So there's a lot of damage there. There's a lot of potential for the squad of Chosen. And they're finding their way back in off the mistakes of Galaxy, off of little too much ambition on their hooks.
Absolutely. They're playing around this Baron pretty well, but they're not playing perfectly around the Baron. Again, not having that TP, not doing things like that. So I think there is frustration, at least in their mind, from that standpoint. But again, when Renekton gets this TP, they have the advantage there. As you said, I think Larson really is the driving force right now behind VLASMR. They are the team, the Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, and then soon to be what I assume to be either Static Shiv or Rapid Fire Cannon, going to turn him into an absolute monster. And like I said, I think you just got to sit in front of him, and even the Renekton has started to realize that.
That just hurts to watch right there. There's not much you can really say. Getting caught out in a situation that bad by Diarol, who put up a brilliant Event Horizon, but that's your front line gone. Chosen don't have much of a chance in a full-on 4v5 team fight.
Yeah, and again, a lot of that is because his only magic resist right now is that one no magic mantle. He gets absolutely destroyed by this, 700 damage Vigar right now, or AP Vigar right now. That's terrifying for him, so you got to be very careful in this jungle.
Cuts through him like a hot knife through butter. The rest of the squad of Galaxy are now showing up towards the top lane. They will take out this tower without much resistance from Chosen. Since they don't have their frontliner, they don't want to risk anything. They rather just defend those inhibitor towers, but this might buy enough time for Galaxy to go after Baron. See if they go for it. They're making the call. They're clearing the vision. They're in the area. Proceed with caution if you're Chosen VLASMR.
Yeah, they certainly have the ability. I think they can also maybe Death Rush here in the jungle. They have to contest, otherwise they're not really respecting the Kalista here. Although the Vigar decided to push mid lane, so they have that knowledge right there. Dragon should also be up soon too. Let me see what that is. That is another Ocean Drake. It's not super big prio on that.
Until it's the third Ocean Drake. The third one kicks in. It's actually quite impressive how much it can really do. But it won't be in time. By the time this Drake goes down, Elder Drake will be the next one, so no hopes for me.
Almost there. Although, of course, Elder Drake with double Ocean is pretty terrifying to think about. You basically get 4 Ocean Drakes worth of value for that, plus all the burn damage you'll get from 4 dragons.
And don't even start with Diarol and his Infernal getting doubled.
Oh no. Terrifying. The amount of AP that he has to be getting is terrifying. Yeah, he's at 843 right now.
Yeah, that's disgusting. and he hasn't even completed his third item yet.
Yeah,
so once that's completed, we're about in the 1,000 territory.
Yeah, he's really getting there. Again, they're just playing around this Baron really well. Again, the slow play right now from Galaxy, though, I think is starting to bite them. They have this gold lead, but the Corki, the Jinx are really starting to get into an area where they can still contribute to the fights. Kalista still has this massive advantage. They still have pure dragon control, but I mean, unless you go super late, try to max items, and then just win team fights, this is getting to be a scarier prospect for Galaxy if they don't make a move pretty quick here.
Eventually, they can end up in a situation where they're at a deficit just because of the raw damage that comes out of Chosen. And then Galaxy will only be hinging on Elder Drake to be their win condition. They don't want to be in that state. They rather just close this out within the next 2 minutes if they can. They just need the right team fight to be found. And Chosen aren't really giving them the time of day. Yeah.
No, the thing is, like, Ivern has quite a few, with the Ardent Sensor and this, the Athene's. Oh, nice hook.
Hook gonna go through! Diarol will find Larson, a very crucial pick from the team of Galaxy. One of those crucial carries are now going to the respawn, which means the pings are going through towards Baron. Galaxy looking to start up the tango.
Yeah, you have 50 seconds for the Corki to come back. I'm now 35 seconds, but still, you have 6-kill Vigar, you have a 6-kill Kalista, you have Guardian Angel on Kalista, massive support items for this Ivern. This is the perfect time to do it. Doesn't matter if they want to come fight. Even if they get the Baron off of a steal or something, you win this fight. They need to take it right now.
Yeah, K9 looking to come around the corner. But Fauchamort is there. 1,000 health remains. The smite does go through. Onslaught of Shadows finds nothing. Skeggy going deep. Here comes the hero's entrance, but will he be the hero of K9? Answer no. Double B trying to make it rain rockets, but his team was annihilated, forced to run away. The rest of the squad of Galaxy stand 5 strong as they walk it towards the mid lane.
Yeah, and again, this is something I think they could have been doing this for, 5-10 minutes at least. They've been able to take this fight. I've just been curious as to why they haven't finally find the pick off the courage of getting this Corki elimination, and that does prompt them to finally take this Baron. They have complete agency on the game right now. They have 20 seconds. They might be able to push for an inhib here.
Straight for it. Death timers, 5 seconds on King's Lind, and they have no front line. It's forfeit for that inhibitor tower. It's forfeit for that inhibitor. At this point, you just count your losses and back off. Being able to pick up a Guardian Angel is not bad, though. Took that away from Fluid.
Yeah, Fluid, I think, took a little too much damage from the package, like AoE. He took, I think, probably 20% of his health bar just from that alone, so that would have definitely kept him alive. Just needs to pay a little more attention. Again, this Corki is actually terrifying at this point in the game, but again, there's just so much contribution from things like the Renekton, like this Vigar, like this Kalista, that, they're all still doing this. Renekton's damage is still very, very much present, especially against this Jinx who doesn't have any resistance right now. So I still think Galaxy has quite a bit of an edge, especially with this Baron. Take this advantage you have, put somebody in a side lane, and then use the rest in the other. Use this 4-1.
By the way, fuck. That's 11:06 on Dio roll now in terms of AP. We're in there now. We're deep into the late game. We are ready for a fight, and Dio roll is looking to bring it with one-shot potential.
Like, at what point does Vigar just, stop? Does gaining AP really actually benefit? Like, at what point does he sell all of his AP items because he just has so much, and he just builds, tank items so he doesn't die in these fights?
You see Vigars do that in A-Round. That's because gold is hyper-inflated there, and the passive is also inflated quite a bit, but... Hey, maybe by the hour mark, we will see that Warmog's Vigar with the Randuins on top of it.
That would be terrifying to see. Yeah, that's pretty scary. If we were able to get that much AP that he could actually just do that. But right now, he certainly has the damage to siege up on some of these towers. His auto attacks have to do ridiculous amounts of damage to this. I want to see one actually hit, because it's, like I said, AP scales so well into tower shots. And we're going to see it right here, actually.
Ooh, really chunking away at this inhibitor tower. It is gone. That is another inhibitor tower hitting the floor. Meanwhile, no more inhibitor towers remain because the top lane one fell as well. Inhibitors under attack. You don't want to be triple inhib because that is pretty much one of the final nails in the coffin to find a victory if you're Team Galaxy. Fauchamort in the top lane, still pushing onto that inhibitor. Inhibitor in the bot lane did go down. K9 looking to find Fauchamort, but Fauchamort will slice and dice away. Here comes the cage, able to find Dio, but Dio only barely able to stay alive, able to find a stun onto Dio as well. Going for that backline. Fluid is protected by the Gator. Another hook goes through. King's Lind is locked into the cage again as the Primal Burst takes him down. Dio roll is legendary. K9 goes for the backline. It gets annihilated in the process. Only the 2 carries remain, but they cannot defend this base. They cannot defend this rampage coming through. Dio roll taking a lot of damage. Out comes the death sentence. Looking to finish the job. Fluish goes forward, and down goes the Nexus. Galaxy take game 1.
Yeah, super, super well played from Galaxy. Again, it's shocking to see a team play with such a slow pace with this and things like the Kalista, things like the Renekton, but they made it work very, very well. Finding picks with this Thresh, finding picks in some of these fights, getting these dragons, just accruing neutral objectives over and over, using the small 5,000, 6,000 gold lead to its absolute maximum, and just ending up finding one good pick with the Skeggy onto Larson, and kind of got him the Baron, triggered the entire game in their favor.
And what a pocket pick of this Vigar 807. Take a look at that damage, by the way. 22k leader in damage by quite a bit. And it really showed. Even though in the early game, he played as a Vigar should. He should play that solo queue style, kick back and farm. But he didn't waste it. Once he got going, and he started taking lives on the Rift.
No, yeah, he was absolutely insane on it. And again, I think everyone across the map, they played the early game very well, and then they just snowballed it into what was a perfect game. So they played it super, super well. It's rare to see a team play with such cohesion, such really good communication across the board, basically. And I expect to see it again in game 2 because that wasn't a mistake, that wasn't pure snowball, that wasn't a bunch of mistakes from the side of VLASMR. I think it was just really clean play from the side of Galaxy.
Yeah, so that's game number 1 in the books. Game number 2, just waiting to go. But before we throw it over a break, we want to tell you about one of our sponsors. Midwest Esports has been around for many years, starting as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, Midwest Esports has hosted tournaments and events throughout the U.S. and hosts plenty of tournaments for games like League of Legends, Rocket League, and Overwatch. For more information, check them out at MidwestEsports.com. We'll be right back with game number 2, Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Upsurge Minor League's regular season week number 1, summer 2019. It's Among Us, Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming. We're already underway. The game's gone on, and Galaxy were able to take game number 1, playing a very slow, methodical style that was filled with just comfort picks. I'm wondering how this draft is going to change if Chosen want to find a win.
Yeah, Chosen do get bans for this first phase, which is a massive change. Thresh already taken off and Renekton already taken off. Those are the first 2 pickups for the side of Galaxy. So already should see a much different game from last time. And Vigar, all 3 champions played in game 1.
Yeah, they're not having any of that. They got the comfort picks last time. Not again. Galaxy taking away the Morgana. 1 pick going to the way of Chosen. They're going to go with the Nautilus, be able to flex it from the mid lane to the support and vice versa.
If I had to guess, it's actually not a support Nautilus. If I had to guess, it's either a top. I would guess it's a top Nautilus or a mid Nautilus. Like I said, if I were just wagering money, I would assume that that's not that. Their support likes to play more Enchanter style champions, so I would expect that to be the case.
To be the case on this one, Galaxy gonna respond with Zilean. Not locked in just yet. Does get locked in. 1 more pick to go through. I would expect something like a jungle pick to come around this time. See what Galaxy choose to go for. The Zilean does provide a lot of zone control, a lot of teamfight presence with those double bombs, as well as the chrono shift, able to steal away those kills, deny them. 1 more pick, 9 seconds on the clock, going for the Olaf.
All right, good to see some aggression here. Last game playing that Ivern wasn't able to see Garo really flex his muscles. Now might be able to see him go in, start to invade, especially against K9 after that, kind of weaker early game performance on this Hecarim.
Waiting for the next pick to come out of Chosen. So having the Olaf and Zilean, there's a lot of movement speed you can give that Olaf to dive towards the back line if you want to go for that. Probably not the most optimal until they do finish out their team composition. 3 more picks to go for Team Galaxy. The Chosen are choosing to go with the Kai'Sa. Get a bit of that mid-game spiking late-game powerhouse. What are they going to follow it up with? Do need either aggression or safety.
Right now, I think Galaxy's also running something like a death ball, so I'd like to see safety unless they just want to counter and just directly run down ADC. That's what they want to do.
So you're starting to see a bit of a skirmishing comp coming out. The level 2 ganker Jarvan can be a threat at all stages of the game. Meanwhile, Nautilus will have that ability to hold down a lot of the backline and disrupt as much as possible. Kai'Sa, of course, brings a lot of damage to the fight. So this works well towards the mid-game skirmishing if you're Chosen. Meanwhile, the response coming out of Galaxy is, well, if it ain't broke, do not fix it. They're going to lock in the Kai'Sa.
Yeah. Or the
Kalista, excuse me.
No worries, yeah. The Kalista actually was really, really strong last game. I'm interested to see what happens when they don't have the Thresh, helping it out with some of the lanterns, with some of the hooks, getting some picks. But certainly it was, my apologies, Fluid that looked very, very strong in the champion. Not shocking to see them lock that one in.
Yeah, so now having that as a full combo, it does have to mean the Zilean should go mid lane. I don't think you want to put the chain onto the Zilean and throw him into the fight unless you want to burn that chrono shit too early.
Yeah, if I had to, like I said, if I had to guess, it would either be Taric or Leona. I think they're gonna ban Leona out here because they don't want to see that like super hard death ball engage with something like Zilean, Olaf, and then like 2 CC champions alongside it. It could be very scary to see that. And Taric is a little bit weaker, I think, than Leona, especially at this level. So again, I would expect to see a Leona ban come out here from the side of Chosen.
Waiting for that ban. Want to see if... and yeah, I could totally see that going through as well.
Alistar, okay. It's the
Alistair
same
is another one of those.
style of
Same
champion.
idea.
Oh, hey, there's a Tarek. Well, no Leona ban, they still went Tarek, so my predictions are kind of right.
And that's kind of a scary combo already. Especially if we're talking about the skirmishing that Chosen wanted to do in the mid game. Galaxy have a good response to it, both Cosmic Radiance, the Chrono Shift, and the Ragnarok. These are tools that counter the living daylights out of a mid game skirmish.
Yeah, I want to see more range, honestly, from the side of Chosen, because you're giving a lot of time over to this Tarek and this Zillion to prepare for things. If you have some sort of poke to be able to throw into this composition, it would help out a lot. Before the fight start. Nar's really good in with Jarvan. So my apologies, Nautilus, Jarvan, Nar is insane engage at low range. Kai'Sa can engage from super far away. Question is, do they want, they go Swain. So yeah, this is very low range composition, but their team fight is super strong.
Yeah, there's so much they're bringing to the table once the skirmishes come, and it's a bit of a gamble though, because you have to catch out either before or after the Cosmic Radiance. So either they're gonna try and run it out, or they're gonna try and eliminate someone before it actually comes down. There's one more pick for the side of Galaxy. So far, they have a lot of safety, they have a lot of speed. They're gonna continue to fight with Vladimir, who does bring so much pushing into the mid lane or into the top lane, and brings a hell of a team fight, being able to amplify a lot of that AP damage with Emo Plague.
Yeah, this is a very, very strong composition from the side of Galaxy, but their issue is there's no super hard engage. Kallista's ultimate with the Tarek is the best you're going to get, but I mean, I wouldn't want to throw Tarek into 5 members, especially not the 5 from the side of Chosen. So they're playing a very reactive style team composition. I'm not sure that suits them very well. Last time we saw what they did when they could dictate, picks and fights with some of the CC that they had. This time, they don't have tons of that. They don't have that ability in this game. So definitely going to be a lot different of a game from the side of Galaxy and from the side of Chosen.
Yeah, the one thing about the side of Galaxy, though, is they're not that dependent on their ultimates. They're not an R composition. The stun, the dazzle that comes out of Tarek is a standard skill. The double bomb also a standard skill, and those can be followed up quite well, used within each other to take these early team fights when ultimates are down for Chosen.
Yeah, that they can. And again, like Olaf is very strong in the earlier stage of the game. Kalista, Tarek, also very good. And you can't get a lot. Like Jarvan's not going to find super successful ganks into Zillion Vladimir so long as they're playing the champions properly. So I think it does make it difficult for them, at least the early game of Chosen, to have tons of success. Once again, it's kind of dependent on what happens with K9 and whether he's able to find some of these ganks with Jarvan. And they really ramped that up. They took that to the next level with this Jarvan. Rather than having Hecarim, who can E and run around the map early and has to kind of succeed, Jarvan can build super tanky. He's a little bit better as a tank. And also his early ganks are very, very strong. He's something that, as you said, level 2 can start to impact the map. So he has to find success on this Jarvan. Otherwise, again, they run the risk of being run over. As you said, this is an R-dependent composition.
Yeah, and if they do find that early success, it is a bit of a slippery slope, because Jarvan does well early, and he can scale well into the mid-game. But the more important thing is how well the rest of his team scales into the mid-game, and how well they work off of each other's crowd control. Dredgeline could be followed even further, hooking someone in with the passive of Swain in the process.
Yeah, it's very easy to catch out of multiple of these champions. And again, there isn't tons of a long range from the side of Galaxy either. It's not like Olaf, Kalista, Tarek are really known for their kind of range. So these fights will be closer up. So things like the Nautilus, like the Swain E, are going to be able to catch out champions. The question is, like, what do these teams do once those picks start to come out? Because it's Chosen that needs to force them to happen, but then GLX gets to react to them, and that's what both these compositions do well. So I think it's very important, I think, to see who wins in the early stage of the game, because that can really, really help your team when you see some of these clashes later.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game. Keep a close eye onto K9, because he's the difference maker for Chosen. And this whole draft, if he's able to find the Flag and Drags, if he's able to find the early Cataclysms, that is the catalyst to get those mid-game spikes, to get that first item, second item spike that makes this team thrive. And that is what Chosen is really gambling on. K9 perform well, and then we'll carry you later on.
Yeah, I'm also curious to see what Gnar build we want to go here, because while there's like traditional team fight Gnar and there's a lot of split push Gnar, those nerfs to Rageblade do hit Gnar because he used to build that if he wants to go on hit. Blade of the Rune King's super good into Vladimir though, so it's like a question of like, do you want to play pure split push, try to take it to the Vladimir, Wit's End really good on the Gnar as well. He makes very good use of that item, so if he wants to build on hit, he certainly can. but certainly with the composition they built, it doesn't look like that. It looks like he wants to play the team fight, and I'm not sure how the Gnar with the team fight build plays into a Vladimir, especially if he wants to split push. So some of these builds are going to be curious too. I want to see what Swain wants to go, whether he wants to go scaling or wants to go more AP. Kai'Sa, whether she wants to build like the new Muramana build or whether she wants to opt for the traditional Infinity Edge type build.
But you also have to keep in mind that when these team fights do break out, talking about like the team fight Gnar, all it takes is Cataclysm, and you have a free wall right there to use the Gnar ult to get the stuns. And I honestly, I feel like that combo is everything for Chosen, because we're talking about it. Chrono Shift and Cosmic Radiance are going to be a nuisance for Chosen as they take these fights, and they need those tools to be down. And the faster you can pull off a play, and the less time Galaxy can react to it, the less the chance you have to deal with the Chrono Shift or the Cosmic Radiance.
And the amount of CC and displacement that Gnar and Jarvan can bring out, even during the Chrono Shift, is enough to at least keep the team in place. So you don't have to worry about those kinds of things. On the counterpoint, Zilean really good in the AoE. Olaf doesn't get CC, so if he gets fed, he can fight the Kai'Sa, he can fight the Swain in the back line. So I guess it's hard to predict how this game's going to go. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch.
Yeah, it should be interesting indeed. Let us know in chat who you think is going to take this game. Will it be Chosen VLASMR or Galaxy Gaming? We're going to throw it over to short break. When we return, we'll get into game number 2. Match point for Galaxy Gaming. Be sure to stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor Leagues. Getting into this game right now, Galaxy versus Chosen VLASMR. Galaxy do have match point, so Chosen, they might be going for a desperation move right here. It looks like an invade is going to be coming our way.
Yeah, except their bot lane, or my apologies, their mid laner and their ADC are both able to get into position to defend against this properly. So this shouldn't be an invade that works out in the end, so long as Fluid is paying attention.
But you never know, you can get caught shopping. That might be the case right here. They're taking the wall very closely, but it will be spotted out. Fluid, it'll be safe. It'll be no problem. It was a nice thought, but unfortunately comes to an end.
Yeah, sometimes you can catch teams, a little bit lax, a little bit, not paying attention, not, memeing a little bit before the game, especially one that just won. But certainly, Galaxy showing that they're at least paying attention enough to not get, destroyed in this early game.
And given the composition that we were just talking about, if Chosen were to find those early game kills, it would work so well into their win condition. That's something Galaxy are going to have to keep in mind as they go through this laning phase. K9 should be looking for ganks almost all the time.
Yeah. And again, as starting to look at some of these, like even with the Kai'Sa in the bot lane, I'm not sure that bot lane is winning. Mid lane, certainly with the Zillion into Swain, is not winning. So, best case for Galaxy is that their top lane is winning. And I don't know in a pure 2v2 if that's the case, at least early stage with the Vladimir and Olaf. So, lots of lanes that he can hit, lots of places they can have success with.
Ooh. Going for the early engage, just a hook, dredge line. Overall, going to be a net win for Chosen, but it's a small one, very small one. Just trying to, it's more of asserting your dominance right there, trying to get the lane psychology going.
Yeah, just let him know that if he wants to hook you, he can hook you at any time in the laning phase.
Interesting start to come out of K9. He has gone for the blue buff into Wolves, into his red buff, so he might be looking to go for an early contest with Garo, possibly over the Scuttle Crab, which, well, J4 does okay as long as he lands the Flag and Drag. If he misses that, Garo wins that fight hands down.
Like, I think even with the Flag and Drag, with this Conqueror rune, as long as Garo isn't just, like, way below half health, which he might be because that's what Olaf likes to do, I think as long as he's at a decent place where his health is, with this Conqueror, I'm not sure that, the Jarvan even beats the Olaf unless he can burst him out. The one thing he does have, again, is this pushing bot lane with the Kai'Sa Nautilus, so he's perfectly fine to have somebody like that come in here.
Ooh, good combo in the mid lane from Where's the Fun.
And both of them actually getting decent portions of their combo right there. Give some respect.
It's kind of the prologue of what's to come. That's what I feel like. I mean, we talked about these compositions and the skirmishing and the team fighting and the CC they have. Well, it needs to be mentioned because there's just so much chaos, that there's so much potential for just destruction, for cataclysmic apocalypse of a team fight. Yeah, I hate to be so dramatic about it, but that's what I'm anticipating in these fights.
Yeah, this should be really interesting. I kind of hope both of these teams get to the later stage of the game without massing like an advantage of any kind, because these late game team fights will be amazing to watch from both sides. We did see that Scuttle contest did happen. Olaf was able to, try to fight the Jarvan until his bot lane came up. So they get the contest, and J4 walks away with that Scuttle. It looks like he's going to double Scuttle because he has pressure here in the mid lane and in top side as well.
Yeah, and that was the name of the game right there. He did the blue start for the contest with Garo, and it's going to lead to double Scuttle, which is going to put him at a beautiful early advantage, both in gold, both in experience. Still need those ganks to come through, though. There is a bit of a ticking time bomb on how powerful Chosen's comp can be at a given stage of the game.
Yeah, but putting behind the Olaf is also a decent strategy. He's another very good early game champion. He's somebody that can definitely hunt for the J4 in these jungle. His job is difficult because, again, no real pushing lane, no real massive winning lane yet. That becomes difficult for the Olaf to try to get some of these invades off, fight the Jarvan. But if it can happen, again, over scuttles, over neutral objectives, it certainly can go the way of the Olaf early.
The first recalls are coming through for our jungler. Skirmish and Saber actually got a hold of that thought. Out comes the stun. Dazzle going in the bot lane onto King's Land. King's Land takes a bit of damage, but he's a big boy. He's a tanky boy. He can take care of himself. That's exactly what he does as he heads back towards the tower.
Yeah, both melee supports, both rather tanky. It is going to be difficult for either bot lane to find, a really good elimination early here. Again, Kalista has a lot of attack speed and a lot of spears, but not really going to be able to burst out this Nautilus. And on the opposite side, it's very difficult to take down somebody like this Herrick even with the Kai'Sa until a lot of items come through. So really look for only eliminations to come down in the bot lane when ganks come through. Ganks are going to be pivotal to determine who wins this bot lane.
As well as those major purchases. You know, Blade of the Rune King will come out of Fluid most likely as a first item. Once that does come out, it does spell a little bit of disaster for Kingsland. He cannot take that damage to all those autos that come out from the Callista. I always have to think of the name again. Callista, Kai'Sa both being on the map, but there's that Ocean Drake again. That infamous Ocean Drake that people praise so much. It results in causing a fight to go through. Garo is looking to find the steal, but he will not get it. Instead, he will get death as he falls at the hands of Double B. Kingsland tries to escape, but one more spear to the back results in Fluid picking up a kill. Will the recall go through? Stun goes in. K9 looking to escape. Flag and drag over the wall will get him to safety, and a flash comes out of Fluid. They're trying to find this duo, but will not bump into them into the jungle. They will both be safe. And what a crazy fight to start off this game number 2.
It was an interesting decision there by Garo. I think he could have probably committed harder onto Double B in an attempt to, get the first blood onto the Kai'Sa rather than going into the Dragon Pit and trying to get that first. It's a 50-50 smite opportunity at best in that position where, I think even K9 had better than not chances of getting that dragon because he was the one taking it most of the time. But certainly, again, I think opting for the fight would have been the better option for the Olaf, especially with Fluid, with Skeggy right behind him on this Callista pick. I think that would have been preferable. Certainly can't make that decision. It's impossible to be perfect all of the time, like your color caster is absolutely 100%. But hopefully some of that can be kind of abated, and that's not too big of a mistake this early.
But one thing you can't help but to just harp on right now is Fluid not having the flash, and K9 has the Cataclysm. If that flash was noticed, if the squad of Chosen did see that flash over the wall that came out of Fluid, that is right there an option to go straight for that bot lane, get the Cataclysm onto Fluid, and find some redemption kills. But there's a lot you do have to keep in mind because you're playing the Callista. You can hop over the Cataclysm wall.
Yeah. I also want to note right now, Double B is building the Muramana on the Kai'Sa, so that's a pretty new build that's coming out, but it is very, very strong.
Right. It maxes out. It charges up one of her abilities early, correct?
Yeah, it's what it is you build Muramana at 300 stacks, so that's 300 mana ability stacked up, and an additional pickaxe with a Doran's Blade. You get enough AP, or you get enough damage in order to upgrade your Q, which is massive for wave clear, and it's about 700 gold cheaper than the original Storm Razor build. So that's super cost efficient in this game.
So going straight for that build to utilize it. A lot of attention coming to the bot side. K9 is looking to set up a gank, but not willing to go too far forward just yet. Finally looking to turn the corner, and here it goes. Dredge line looking to land onto Skeggy as well as the flag and drag. Cataclysm not going to be used. The flash burnt from Skeggy. Overall, successful gank. You got a flash burnt. It's a lane you can revisit later.
Yeah, and they already have level 6 on the Nautilus, so they could look to maybe re-engage. He needs to just pressure this. King's Landing needs to stand so far forward and zone them away from the wave. Keep this level 6 advantage as long as they can. They might be able to even force a dive, although it does look like K9 is walking elsewhere to find some other things on the map.
Yeah, I'm going to clear out the Raptors for the time being. Next Drake to spawn will be a and it will spawn with plates still up. So if you're able to get that early enough, you're able to try and utilize it to collect some of these plates. Meanwhile, Shelly will be spawning in about a minute as well. So there's a lot to start collecting in these plates before you get past the 14-minute mark and lose that gold forever.
Yeah, and no real advantage from any laner at the moment getting some of the plates. I think most of it is really on just that first blood and a little bit of farm here and there, but certainly nothing massive accruing in this early game. Again, exactly what we want to see when you want to see these pure 5v5.
Skirmishing it out in the mid side, just throwing bombs, throwing everything they can at each other, everything in the kitchen sink. But overall, it's where's the fun who's starting to pick up an advantage. You can see that CS differential growing, about 20 CS separating these mid laners, 500 gold in total. And that is a scary thing, because Swain can start popping off at a certain stage of the game, but that's going to be blue buff going over to Dio roll, which does give him a bit of fresh air to breathe as he can continuously just shove in these lanes with the threat of that double bomb stun.
Absolutely. And again, the all of the advantage that's being gained by Where's the Fun is actually responded to by Farchamort or Fauchamort. I don't know how to say his name, but certainly both solo laners or both solo lanes have some advantage on one side or the other. Junglers are pretty much even at the moment, really pretty much even across the board. I mean, really, these two teams are exactly the same gold. Oh, big ult.
Yeah, forced out the Hemo Plague. All that pressure coming out of Dio. That will not be available. Means you can potentially go for a tower dive in the top lane, knowing that extra heal from Hemo Plague will not be there, but instead coming towards the bot lane is K9. He's going to hide out in that bush, potentially setting up for the next Drake, which is spawning right now. Mountain Drake hitting the Rift.
Yeah, and a Mountain Drake on this composition would be absolutely massive. It helps them contest against the Callista secure, but also something like the Kai'Sa can absolutely shred a Baron, shred a Dragon with this Mountain Drake. So they need to contest it. They have strong champions. They have completed items on a couple of people. So I do think this is the time where Chosen needs to be able to contest and needs to be able to find a success in a fight.
Yeah, plus they have those crucial ultimates that work at any stage of the game. Just the utility of those ultimates alone is a huge threat for Team Galaxy as they choose to back off instead of dealing with the depth charge, instead of dealing with the Cataclysm. And they're just going to forfeit it. It's going the way of Chosen.
Huh. Interesting, yeah. I mean, that's not a terrible decision. Again, Chosen, I think, does have the better early game composition. Both TPs up from top laners as well, so it just depends on who can actually cancel the others. And Gnar can cancel the Vladimirs, and the opposite is not true. So I'm not super worried about that. Gnar did finish Executioners, and he's got some pieces of Black Cleaver, so I think at this point, Gnar's mini form is going to be very, very hard for the Vladimir to deal with.
But meanwhile, Garo, objective for objective, going for the trade. Rift Herald started up by Garo. We'll trade that out for the Mountain Drake. He should be spawning it quite soon, though. Minute 45 before these plates start falling off. You want to cash in as many as possible. You can collect about 2 or 3 off one charge of Shelly alone.
Yeah, the Protobelt finish for the Vladimir as well could actually spell pretty decent success if they want to come top here. There's actually a scud or a skirmish happening in the mid-river right now.
Yeah, fighting it out. Meanwhile, in the top lane as well, more fights going through. Dio trying to take it to Fauchamort.
Yeah, Fauchamort flat, though, just going to be hard to poke out, hard to get, secure a lot of this damage unless a little bit more comes out here over the course of the lane. Yeah, now back into Minior, that should be the point where you can start poking him and really doing some damage. Although the ultimate's back up for Fauchamort, so he can engage onto the Gnar. I think he does have enough damage to kill him where he's at right now in terms of health.
Dio does have the Executioner's Calling, so a lot of this punishment that Dio is dishing out towards Fauchamort is handled just a bit. It's less obnoxious than the heals you'd normally see.
That it does. And again, Olaf has this Rift Herald. He's got about 45 seconds to put it down in a lane if he wants to get plating. Actually, only one plate on both sides has been taken down. That's been in the bot lane. Pretty crazy. Last game, I think we saw a number of plates on both sides go down by this point, but both teams playing a lot safer and a lot more controlled of a game. 1 or 2 kills right now, 13 minutes. This is much slower pace. They're really looking for the 5v5 on both sides here.
I'm kind of disappointed at Garo not choosing to go for the plates right away. It does still leave it to be used for first brick or a tower in general, but you want to maximize the gold you're going to get, and you want to maximize that gold very early. Usually what you tend to see is you'll go into the enemy jungle, Raptor camp, spawn Shelly over the wall. Wasn't the safest thing to do in this case just because of not enough vision in the side of the jungle of Chosen, but one of the options on the table.
Absolutely. I think taking it bot wouldn't be an awful situation. They can maybe look for an engagement with the Olaf on the bot side, with the CC and the protection of the Taric and then the Callista. That's probably their best bet, is just try to engage onto this bottom line, get a kill onto the Kai'Sa, and then drop the Rift Herald immediately, try to get first tower there on the bot side. I think that'd be enough. That'd be gold towards your Callista. That's a little bit better pressure on the bottom side of the map so they can start to look to help Zillion. I think that's honestly where you want to look if you're Olaf right now.
And that's exactly where he's looking. Garo is showing up towards this bot side, trying to set up a death bush. Him and Fluid camping it out just a bit. Skeggy standing in the open. Diaroll is rotating down towards that lane as well. See how this fight does play out. If Garo does go through with this, or if Double B and Kingsland are the wiser.
Yeah. Garo is not spotted quite yet. We'll have to see if there's any engagement. Zillion's down here as well. Again, the Jarvan's coming up actually through the lane, so we actually might see two separate lane ganks happening at exactly the same time. Oh, we missed the flash.
And Cosmic Radiant's gonna go out. Ragnarok as well. Cataclysm onto Double B. Double B is running critically low. Can he get the kill in time? No, he will not. A Dazzle goes through. Skeggy trying to do all the work in the world to keep Fluid healthy, to keep Fluid standing, but where's the fun? Destroys him. Going straight after Skeggy. Double bomb goes through, but doesn't get the stun. Another drag. Chrono shift onto Skeggy, but Skeggy has nowhere else to go but to the grave. Another double bomb comes in. Skeggy, no mana, no health, and soon gonna be the same way with Diaroll, delaying the inevitable, able to take down Kingsland, but a double kill will go the way of Where's the Fun, and 4 go down. A huge win for Chosen VLASMR.
Yeah, and that's all Where's the Fun. His TP in that fight was absolutely immaculate, putting him right where he needed to be. I think there was also a small miscommunication. The W and the ultimate seemed to not go onto Garo when he dove onto the backline to kill Double B. So when he got that elimination, he was very low health after being chunked out from the damage of the Kai'Sa this early. Made his life a lot harder, wasn't able to sustain fight with the Conqueror through the damage of the Nautilus and the Jarvan, and that gave enough time for Where's the Fun to come down and just clean up that fight. So maybe, like I said, I'm not sure exactly what happened, why the W left him at the last second, but certainly that might have been a complete difference maker in that fight.
And this hurts to see right here. The timer on Shelly was getting far too low. Garo was forced to pop it in the jungle just to make sure he didn't lose it. He's trying to set up something in the top side, but Shelly has yet to make it towards the tower. First brick was already taken down, and Dio can try and zone out Shelly as much as possible to try and get that damage in. The charge will go through, but since damage was already there, it's not going to be as effective as it could have been.
It was interesting. Falshamore and Garo both kind of pulled off the Rift Herald instead of trying to walk it into tower. Dio was Little Gnar at the time, so I think they could have at least put some kill pressure onto him. Jarvan not quite near the area yet. It was definitely possible for that to happen. Now look at Little Gnar just running down this flat.
Falshamore, every time the auto start coming in, it just takes one boomerang slow. Imagine once the frozen mallet starts coming in. If you still go for that on Gnar. It's been a while since I've seen Gnar in the meta.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things on Gnar. Basically anything on hit, anything team, but basically any item. You build any item on Gnar, he's probably going to be efficient with it, but certainly building for this game. Again, Black Cleaver, the Executioner, is purely a laning thing, and it looks like he's going for magic resist, so he wants to build for more team fight here.
Just clearing through. Mountain Drake is on the table. You can see K9 rotating around that area, looking to establish some vision early on. Garo will spot it out. K9 does have the level advantage. That's a Cinder Hulk J4 going for the pure tank stats. Rather, just going to be that engage tool for his team as more fighting goes on the top side. Baltimore going straight after Dio. Dio trying to flash away, throws another boomerang to get the slow, and will be able to survive. Flash burn for Dio. Fachemort able to get overall pretty good trade in that top lane fight.
Yeah, as soon as he drops into that Little Gnar form after coming out of Big Form, he doesn't get any charge. He can't transform for a little bit, and so that was Falshamort's key to go in. He's very squishy in that Little Gnar form, only has the one No Magic Mantle, well, now he has Merc Treads, but certainly had the damage ability to push him out, and that's where you see the Flash get burned. So very well done by Falshamort. If he runs into that same situation again, certainly can absolutely take it to Dio and maybe get a solo kill next time.
Now, the response coming out of Chosen will be Drake. Second Mountain Drake of the game, and no one's really coming here to respond. Garo just took the recall, so this Drake is completely theirs. Double Mountain Drake could start setting up a lot of worries for Galaxy in the future, especially having Double B on that Kai'Sa who can melt a Baron quite quickly. Give her 2 mountains, it's that much more faster.
That it is. And again, Double B has this Q upgrade now, so the wave clear on this Kai'Sa is absolutely insane. Something that this Callista can't really match until the Runaan's is brought out. So right now, Swain is pushing in constantly, bot lane's pushing in constantly, and even this Nars finding ways to push against the Vladimir constantly. Vladimir built very defensively, Zillion's building more defensively. This is just the team fight, the massive team fight presence of the Zillion, the Vladimir, the Kai'Sa, and my apologies, the Terek in the bottom side of the map, those four are all building so defensively that I think that this 5v5 monster team fight we might expect might be delayed for some time. And that's kind of terrifying for Galaxy since, you know, they want to be competitive in this mid game.
Mm-hmm. And instead, they're forced to play that slow game again, but this time, they're the ones on the defensive. You're starting to see the vision come out from Chosen. They're pushing more and more forward towards the jungle of Galaxy. Baron side vision is pretty secure, but Baron is fresh, going for an engage. Foshmort looking to take it to Dio, but Dio is going to retaliate, able to get some damage of his own. Out comes the Hemo Plague, and Dio will not want to fight in that damage amplification.
That was interesting. Fashmore popped his ultimate at I think a bad time. He had just gone Meganar from the side of Dio, and he used his ultimate very offensively, trying to put him into the wall. And once he missed it, I think all Fashmore had to do was walk away from that situation and try to wait out the Meganar. And then if he waits for the little Gnar like he is right now, that ultimate can come out. No flash and no jump away from the Gnar could have led to a solo kill for Fashmore. Instead, now looks like they're putting 3 people on the top side of this map.
It's going to be pretty rough. Dio roll does have Chrono Shift, so if they set up a dive, it's not going to go their way. That's the short story. Chrono Shift could ruin that in an instant, as well as the double bombs. Pushing forward towards the tower, double bomb goes out. Still trying to get some damage onto that tower, dragging him in. But where's the fun? Only getting harassment. Garo is around the corner, looking to join the fight soon. Will be Skeggy. So that's Chrono Shift and Cosmic Radiance. Very defensive ultimates you have to worry about.
Absolutely. And again, with a lot of this engage, though, it is difficult. So you only get the one ultimate if you're the Zillion. And so if Vladimir starts doing get engaged on, you have to be curious, can Vladimir sustain through a lot of that engage, or do I have to burn my ultimate to try to protect him? Because then the Zillion is very open. He is not super, defensive of a champion in his own right, has to use that E to try to run away at best. Do see a little bit of a lane swap here. Vladimir heading towards the bot side, Zillion heading up top, and they're putting their mid lane or their bottom lane in the mid side. I think this is so that they can try to rotate. Neutral objectives have been massively controlled by Chosen in this one, and they want to start trying to contest it because they might feel like they have the team fight to do so.
Yeah, speed of neutral objectives. Next Drake to spawn will be an Ocean Drake. Chosen would have double Ocean at that rate. And another win condition of that Elder Drake that we were talking about, having all that burn. And more fights going on at the top side. Skeggy looking to show up to the fight. It's time for some of that supportal combat. Skeggy and Dio roll, bringing in Fluid to the fray. Dio trying his best to survive. Will he be able to get the stun in time? Out comes the Cosmic Radiance. Skeggy and Fluid are immune to any damage. Still going forward, though, with the depth charge. Looking for the back line. Dio roll gets knocked up, but the rest of the squad of Galaxy will be just fine. Where's the fun? Tries to find the hook. Will not get it. Bomb goes out. Gonna whiff. And these teams stand. The battle line's drawn. Just waiting for an engage to go through.
Yeah, the aggression on both teams was really good there, but neither team was able to find a kill at all. I mean, I think it was very close. Fluid was almost getting a kill onto, I forget which one. I think it was Dio right before he popped his, one of his abilities and goes that Meganar form. But big engagement there by K9. He was able to get all the summoners out of the bot lane from the side of Galaxy. Now, no flash, no heal on Callista, no flash on the Terek either. So in this coming fight, those two are much more exposed.
Right here, Double B trying to deal with this push that's coming out of Foshmort, but Foshmort smells blood. You don't want to be next to a Vladimir when he's already completed that Proto Belt, and all you really got going for you is that Rageblade and Manamura. Looking to set up the Death Bush. Kingsland, and where's the fun? Want to find Fluid, and they're going to get exactly that, and without much contention, annihilated is Fluid. His autos ring through for Dio.
Now the Gnar's starting to put out some pretty significant damage onto this Vladimir. You see he got forced back as well. The pick comp, working pretty well right there. You saw the Nautilus and the Swain team up to bring down the Callista right there. I doubt this is any sort of competition. That might have been an overstep. Yeah.
Big overstep. 2 towers going down consecutively, both in the top and bottom lanes, followed by a Drake being called from Team Chosen. They head over to pick up the second Ocean Drake of the game. They have full control of this map. All outer turrets are gone.
Very interesting. Again, this is really slow, methodical play we've seen from both teams. It was in game 1, again, it was Galaxy. In game 2, now it was the side of Chosen that was able to, accomplish it, even with something like the Jarvan, which is typically seen as more early game champion. Even the Olaf on the opposite side, both seen as very early game dominant champions. Neither team was able to find much success in the early game, instead just kind of relying on some of these skirmishes, some of these fights. to get some of these kills. So very, very unique gameplay from these two teams, leading to these kind of longer games. I still expect probably 5-10 minutes of this game at least.
Yeah, but what this really leads to is with this slow gameplay style, it's what you were talking about before. Eventually, this game will start breaking open. These item spikes, these full build item spikes, mind you, will start to rip this game apart, and the team fights will just be absolutely devastating. We're starting to head more and more towards that point as Baron is on the map and vision control continues to be fought for around that Baron area. It does look like a fight might break through. Garo almost getting a little bit too close, gets hooked in by the dredge line. Out comes the Cosmic Radiance to keep him alive. He will be able to run away with the help of the Cataclysm. Ultimate coming out of Fluid, only throwing Skeggy to be safe. But Garo, wrong spot, wrong time. Where's the fun? Gets a huge amount of burst damage on it, but not finish the job. Pachamard able to come on the back line with the Hemo Plague, gets a bunch of damage in, but instantly starts to run out. A lot of healing coming in from that Hemo Plague pop, but he's fed to the wolves. Where's the fun? Takes him down. Cataclysm goes through. Diarol caught deep within the depths of the Cataclysm of K9 as continuing to take down the members of Galaxy. Chosen march forward. Diarol goes down, and Where's the Fun is the one who finds the kill. Fluid runs for his life. That's a double kill for Where's the Fun. The squad of Chosen are annihilating the Galaxy.
Yeah, finally seeing a lot of this, longer, elongated fights for the side of Chosen, using this Swain to the absolute fullest of his extent. I thought he could have pushed that fight a lot faster. He could have really ran into basically 4 members with that ult on, no Cosmic Radiance to worry about. So I think he really could have done that faster, but certainly, Where's the Fun taking over that fight, doing a fantastic job, only losing Nautilus to Fluid, but certainly they're going to probably get this Baron off the back of it. They got a ton of kills onto their carries. This is exactly the shift in the game that Chosen needed to try to close it out.
And it looks like we're already on track for our very first game of the UML to go to a game 3. There's going to be no stomps here today. It's just pure warfare as the Baron power play begins. Chosen start hitting the rift to begin the tower sieges to put away the squad of Galaxy.
Yeah, so it's really interesting to see like the kind of shift from last game, what 3 bans can do for you. Again, there's no Thresh, so you have no real massive pick pressure. And then Where's the Fun looked like he's so much more comfortable on this pick as opposed to the Corki. Last game, he was doing a very good job, and certainly there was a lot of pressure on him to be this massive carry. And this one, that's more on the Kai'Sa, but he is still popping off on the Swain, doing amazing things. And now he has a ridiculous amount of damage on this kind of frontline champion. He can kind of be the first person into fights and still find massive success, and he's doing it right now. In these fights, he can very, very much so 1v2, 1v3 in the front. And he's showing exactly what kind of power he can bring. Now they're looking to push down across the map.
Just shoving in these towers. The wave already there. That tower will fall. Blood Pool forced to be used. You can see over the wall, waiting in the wings, Kingsland. Looking to find a dredge line in the top lane. Dio continues the split push. A 1-4 split push going through. Looking to match him is Foch Mort. Starts heading towards that top side as well. Diarol looking to defend the base. They have no choice but to forfeit every single inner tower, every single outer tower. They're turtling into their base.
Yeah, and I like this style a lot more. Again, the 4-1 from the side of Chosen is what I expected from them, and that's what they're running right now. The Gnar in the side lane, who's really going to stop them at this point, has quite a bit of split push pressure. And then the 4-man squad with this, the Swain, the Jarvan, and then the Kai'Sa and the Nautilus. So much CC and tons of damage coming out of these champions, just able to siege up on this bot tower here.
Oh, you have to go now. If you're the squad of Galaxy, you can't stay there and let Dio do as he pleases in the top lane. So Galaxy, pull the trigger at this point, or else your base will slowly, surely be torn apart. And they might look to do that right now. Turrets are falling towards the floor. K9 looking to go forward with the flag and try. Cannot find the backline just yet. More towers still falling. Inhibitors under attack. That inhibitor is not long for this world. Response needs to come through from Galaxy, and running forward with the Ragnarok, trying to do everything he can to save his squad. Garo has forced to forfeit that fight. Skeggy caught in the Cataclysm, looking to go forward is Where's the Fun, using the mod extension, looking to find the pop. Out comes the Hemo Plague, gets a lot of damage in, but it's not enough. He's already running away. He's already down. Diarol looking to fall as well. Flashing forward is Dio, gets the slows. The Dazzle will not connect today. with 2 members down, 3 stand to try defend this final Nexus tower. Garo, Fluid, Skeggy, can they do it? They get a stun in and down will go Garo, Fluid and Skeggy, the only ones that remain, and with Skeggy the last one to survive, he will be the final one to fall. The Nexus follows suit. Game number 2 going the way of Chosen VLASMR.
Yeah, and again, as I said, very, very slow-paced game. That was 30 minutes, but it felt much more like a 40-minute game, 45-minute game. So not forcing, just taking very, very safe, very, very controlled plays. We've seen it from both squads, and I want to see better 5v5s from both of them, or at least somebody maybe to take the aggressive standpoint and take something like this Jarvan, push it in the early game, but neither team has had success with it so far. So, maybe they just want to draft some of these more team fight champions. Again, Swain had massive success, whereas the Fun looked amazing on it. Couple that with K on the Jarvan, had a lot more impact than in the last game on the Hecarim. So, really, really good draft adaptions here from the side of Chosen Gotham game too.
Yeah, they played so well. Once they got the tempo, they just would not let up. They were playing as a proactive team, and they forced Galaxy into this reactive situation where they're just hoping for a mistake to come out of Chosen, and they would not let it go through. Their composition assured that once they got a lead, it was never going to be let go.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they're a much better team fighting composition as well, with this hard engage across the board, basically so reactive a comp from the side of Galaxy that, what are you going to do if they do get ahead? As you said, once they have that gold advantage, they can press it with all of this engage, all of this pick potential, and there's nothing to respond to it other than maybe the Zillion ult, other than well-timed Cosmic Radiance. And as we saw, Skeggy wasn't able to get it done every single fight. We saw, some of the revives weren't fantastic on the Zillion, and so they just kept losing skirmish by skirmish until the game snowballed in the favor of Chosen.
So game number 2 is done. We're at match point for both squads. Chosen VLASMR, Galaxy Gaming. Whoever wins the next one wins it all. Before we throw it over a short break, word from our sponsors. Looking for a way to find fast, reliable scrims for your team to practice against? Then Scuttle Scrims is your new best friend. Scuttle Scrims is a reliable and easy application that allows you to quickly search for active teams of all ranks and all skill levels that are looking for reliable practice partners. Simply log in, search your specified ranks, and request a scrim. For more information, visit the website at scuttlescrims.com. We will be right back with game number 3, Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor Leagues week number 1, the 2019 summer season. Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming. And these teams, Fox, these teams have been bringing it to us. They've been outright slugging it out. Back and forth wins. Next one takes it all.
Yeah, a couple of really grindy wins from both these teams too. Not tons of early aggression, not tons of snowball, just some clean League of Legends being played in terms of macro, in terms of little team fights. So again, the pick adaptions are going to be very, very fun. I'm curious to see whether either team wants to take the chance on an early game composition to try to get an advantage over the other, since we know neither team has been able to pull it off yet.
Well, what we did notice is that Galaxy are happy playing a late game style, playing a slow, methodical style, while Chosen, the moment they get a tempo going, they're willing to run with it. So if an early game strategy does come out, I do expect it out of Chosen more than I would out of Galaxy as we head into Champ Select with game number 3 in the final game of the evening. Swain, Silas, Thresh, Vigar, all taken off the map, as well as Morgana, one more band the way of Chosen. I'm gonna find out what that is in just a second. But yeah, winner take all. Renekton, the lane bully, will not go through. Galaxy first pick their way.
Yeah, a really interesting thing also is that Where's the Fun was not in game 1 because of an issue that he had, but they swapped him back in for that game. And as you saw, the success he had was pretty big impact for the side of Chosen.
A pretty big impact indeed, Team Galaxy. Locking in the Nautilus this time. They're not going to let Chosen have it as a first pick. It does stand pretty strong. The lanes it can be put into, but this should be Lovers Duo. Yes, it is. Chosen responding with that synergy, the Lovers Duo.
That's interesting. Again, we haven't seen much aggression here in the bot lane, but Rakan Xayah is one that can get kind of aggressive in the early stages of the game on their own right. Certainly do scale rather well too. Some of those Rakan changes give him some better base stats early, so might be something beneficial for the side of Chosen, although again we haven't seen much early aggression work out, so we'll have to see if GLX is willing to punish with something like Kalista. Oh, Caitlyn, finally.
Yeah, Caitlyn going to go through for Galaxy, as well as Hecarim. getting a little bit of the double flex going on, plus getting that ADC before that pull starts getting choked out in the second phase of the draft. Do expect a jungler to come out from the side of Chosen. Rek'Sai still is available, so is J4. Chosen with 8 seconds left on the clock. I would like to see the J4 with this composition, but Sejuani is also another good one to go for if you're going to go the tank route.
Yeah, quite a bit of scaling already. Sejuani's a rather strong jungler, but again, with a bot lane that potentially won't get very aggressive, especially into the Caitlyn Nautilus, they have to draft some solid, solo lanes. The mid and top lane both have to have some presence on the map. Otherwise, they do run the risk of being run over, even if GLX runs something more scaly, something more teamfight based, and that can be very, very detrimental. So Nico being banned, Cillian being banned, I like both those things.
Now, here's where a lot of questions start getting answered as we get into the next couple of picks to go through once these bans are down, is where is the Nautilus going to go? Where is the Hecarim going to go? I feel like if you are on the Caitlyn right now, you do want something a little bit either on the Shovey side, no, mostly on the Shovey side, and something to keep her a little safe in the process. More bans go through. Cillian, Vladimir, Nico, all taken off the map. One more ban for the side of Galaxy Gaming. 20 seconds for it to come out.
Lots of AoE mages already taken off the board on both sides. It wouldn't shock me to see maybe a Lux ban. Actually, no. Not Lux. My apologies. Yeah, it's not going to be Lux here. Yeah, my bad. I was reading it backwards for some reason. It's actually GLX that likes to play the Lux, so we'll have to see if they want to pick it. But certainly, Gnar was rather strong in that last game. Dio seemed very comfortable on it, so good takeaway from that.
So Chosen, first pick of the second phase of the draft, do have their pick when it comes to a top and a mid laner. It's all about what they want to counter pick with and what they read as the picks of Team Galaxy. They're going with the Urgot, and this does work as a bit of a flex pick of its own. We've seen it gone to the mid lane. We've seen it go to the top lane. Even seen it gone to the... I cannot grammar right now. We've even seen it head over to the jungle, but the Sejuani pretty much guarantees that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I guess you maybe flex the Sejuani towards the top side lane, though I doubt it. Kennen's a good pick into it. It's very safe. You can run away from the Urgot. There's plenty of poke there that you can return fire onto that Urgot. And the team fight's very, very good. Again, it's in the same vein as like the Vladimir, the Cillian, the Nico with the AoE AP damage from a mage. What I am curious is this mid lane. They have to pick something priority for themselves because they're going to get counterpicked here.
So we're going to resolve these lanes right now. 10 seconds on the clock. Galaxy Gaming waiting for that final pick to be locked in. The Aatrox is hovered.
Ooh.
And this really didn't give us as much info as I thought it would, because Hecarim could go top lane or jungle. Aatrox can go top lane or jungle or mid. Nautilus can go wherever the hell you want to put him. We're just gonna have to see this resolve.
Yeah, if I had to guess, this is an Aatrox top lane. I think it's their team that likes to play that top. So if that's the case, then it's probably Kennen mid with Hecarim as a jungler. The really weird flex would be like if Kennen were the support and Nautilus were mid. Oh, I love the Xerath pick here.
Interesting to see the Xerath go through. It offers a lot of safe long-range poke. You can stay out of the fight, but still deal damage in it, both with the Q and with the ultimate.
Yeah, and again,
how does it suit in with this composition that they've gone for thus far?
So it's really interesting. I've been wanting to see someone play this poke style for most of the game. I know that Ocean Drakes have come about, but without any Ocean, there's no massive sustain from the side of GLX outside of some, if you build some in. So Aatrox has some built into his kit, but other than that, getting this poke down is going to give you an advantage in some of the team fights. Rakan can find engages, Sejuani can find engages, and Zion Urgot feel a lot more comfortable if Caitlyn, if Hecarim, if Kennen are all chipped down, 3/4 health, half health before the fight starts. Again, it's what I wanted to see last time. The Swain was able to kind of fill that role, but it certainly is less safe. This time, where's the fun? Playing something that's a lot easier to get that done with, and I love the Xerath. It's very safe into basically any of these champions they want to put into him. Nautilus has 0 kill threat into him and basically gives Xerath a free lane. Aatrox can get aggressive, but of course Xerath outranges him, so it's going to be very easy for Xerath to just stun him and walk away. Kennen's probably your best bet, but again, till level 6, there's no real threat on the Xerath from the Kennen outside of a gank from the Hecarim.
Yeah, it's just going to be a story of poke, stay safe, poke, 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 and then find your win conditions off of that. Whether it be poking around Baron, then eventually forcing a Baron into an advantageous fight. There's so many options that Xerath brings to the table in terms of strategy. Meanwhile, on the side of Galaxy Gaming, It is a bit disjointed, but it does have a lot of potential once you start going for those picks and start going for those very, very fast-paced fights.
Yeah, there's a lot of long-range engage and like zone control. Like Zaya's feathers make it very difficult for teams to just pure engage into Chosen's composition. Sejuani can throw ultimates out as she walks backwards. They can kite backwards very, very well. Rakan can fight into a team, then immediately retreat, that kind of thing. Urgot has his E, has his W, has ways to kind of contribute in fighting backwards, and then they can also fight forward. Xerath again putting out poke damage. Zaya's feathers. Very, very good tool to give them space as they work forward. So I think Chosen's composition in terms of 5v5 is very strong. Their lanes leave a little bit to be desired. I do think having at least one with the Xerath as a winning lane is very, very beneficial to them.
I think one of the lanes to really take a close look at would be that top lane matchup, though, because the Urgot is not his former self. He's not one of the big beefy boys at the top lane with Aatrox and Sion anymore. That meta has shifted away. But Aatrox, on the other hand, he's looking stronger than ever. He's become more of a mid-game snowball champion who can devastate a team fight.
Yeah, they did take him down. They changed that ultimate, so it's a lot harder to get the revive off without really spamming spells. But certainly bringing back some flat damage, bringing back some of the hard hitting Aatrox style that I want to see is going to be very important. Again, Urgot not anything like kind of a ghost of his former self in terms of top lane meta, and Aatrox really starting to come into his own. And Falshamort, I very much trust that he's able to give this champion life and really take advantage. Again, if any game were going to be dictated about the early pace, as opposed to the other two, we had some expectations, but certainly they went very long. If a team is going to snowball an early game, I do think that Galaxy's composition is going to do it. Aatrox, Caitlyn, Nautilus all have massive engage into their lanes. Kennen can roam around the map with that ultimate, do some pretty heavy damage, and Hecarim very similar. Going for the Ghost, I'm curious to see whether he goes Predator to really double down on some of these ganks. If he does, again, this is the early game we could have seen from the side of Chosen in game one, just really taken to another level.
And then staying in that top lane area, you have to think about how this matchup plays differently in today's world rather than the old world. And that comes down to the fact that there's a lot of lifesteal or in regen that you get from the ultimate of Aatrox, whereas Urgot used to rely heavily on his ultimate. That was it. Try and get your damage, try and get the HP bar as low as possible, then rely on the ultimate to do the rest. When there's that much regen on an Aatrox on his kit now, once level 6 comes around, it's going to be a very strong advantage in the lane going over to Falshamort.
Yeah, I agree completely. And then couple that with the fact that I think Aatrox, as long as he plays around the E from Urgot, if he doesn't get thrown over the shoulder of Urgot, I don't think he ever loses a trade. I really don't. Because all he has to do is wait out the shield that is given to the Urgot by using that dash move. And now he has no shield, he has no mobility, and he has no real CC as opposed to the slow. Aatrox has too much catching power, especially if he wants to do something really aggressive, like go into the Yumus build that we used to see. It's going to be amazing to see what Falshamort can bring out on a carry champion and whether or not he can really take advantage of this matchup.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. One more time, let us know who you think is going to win. Will it be the blue side, Galaxy Gaming, or the red side, Chosen VLASMR? We'll find out in just a couple of moments as we get through the spectator delay. We're going to throw it over a short break. We'll be right back in just a moment for Game 3's thrilling conclusion. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Minor League Week number 1, Summer 2019. Game number 3, Chosen VLASMR versus Galaxy Gaming. It's match point for both squads, and we've seen the love going on in Twitch chat. There's a lot of Galaxy fans out there right now, but where are the Chosen ones coming at? This has been a slugfest, slobberknocker.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an insane series. Again, after that first game, Galaxy looked super clean. They looked like the more dominant team, but obviously, Chosen's got something in the tank. They can absolutely compete with this team. We want to see a little bit more of the stack here in an attempt to, prevent any sort of engage from any sort of invade from happening. Nothing going to come out. Instead, just some vision drawn on the river line. Again, both teams just preparing for what's going to happen over the next, probably, seeing how the first 2 games went, what is likely the next 87 minutes.
I don't blame you for that one. Both are a little less willing to pull the trigger until they actually have a lead, and until then, they play this kind of stagnant game of who will blink first. The moment that pops, then we got a fight going on, but it does take some time before they get to that level.
All right. I want to take a quick look at some summoners, because I do see, or my apologies, some keystones, because there are a few rather interesting ones. So the Aatrox did take Conquer. That's something typical, but not always what happens. So sometimes you see the Electrocute, you see Comet, Aftershock, all of these things can be run. I don't know enough about Aatrox top in his current state to say whether that's pure meta, but certainly there are other options. I'm curious to see what he does with this one. Electrocute on Kennen in the mid lane, not always seen that. Ooh, nice hook.
Yeah, hook does go in. It's a bit of damage, but Skeggy takes some in the process. Double B is the one who deals out all the damage, but doesn't get hit back. So it does go back to neutral, but you can see the push going on from the bot side over here of Team Galaxy. They just want to shove it in and cause the pressure. Dredgeline to land, and the Ignite does go out, but it forces the heal to come out of a double B to keep his support alive. Another use of that Pilt over Peacemaker, and we go back to neutral.
Yeah, and this is what I think the power of the Caitlyn has been. Fluid is amazing on his Caitlyn, and it's been taken away from him the majority of the time. Game 2, I think they could have opted for it, but they went for the Kalista because they thought it was very, very good. But this game really giving him something comfortable. As you see, 2 hooks already from the side of Skeggy and 2 really good engages from Fluid.
That damage coming out of Fashimort over in that top side. You're seeing that. You're seeing the power of the Aatrox currently. He can get a bit punished if he goes in and doesn't really find those, doesn't really land his Qs, especially with the changes that came through in some of the last changes. But yeah, here we go. Fight gonna break through. Gonna have to try and use some of those Qs to gain a little bit of mobility, a little bit of disruption. Force to burn the flash going down in the bot lane. Another fight breaks through. Kingsland starting to get low. The heal is no longer available in the mid lane. Another fight breaks through as Dio Roll goes straight after. Where's the fun? Ignite goes through, and here comes the tower shot, but Dio Roll barely able to survive. A fight in the top, a fight in the mid, a fight in bot, and no first blood.
Yeah, dude, get summoners basically across the map on a lot of champions. And again, the aggression can certainly be brought back onto plenty of them. But I think Fashimort burning this TP is really a lot of pressure onto Dio. He's stuck in this lane right now. Can't really walk up either. It's pretty terrifying to see. Let's get more action. Sue's topside. No, I'm not going to have that.
Okay, 9 doing a bit of counter jungling. Actually, I believe we're going vertical at this point. Both Garrow's in the jungle as well, taking away the camps from K9. This might mean a focus for a potential dive in the bot side. Kingsland is very low. Garo hasn't been able to make his first purchase, so he's relying heavily on really the base damage out of everyone if they go for this dive.
Yeah, and again, this game has had quite a different pace than the majority. Oh, another nice hook!
Oh, Dredgeline goes through again, but Kingsland is instantly able to run on out and stay alive. But Skeggy, he's on fire. If he's not playing Thresh, he's going to get another hook champ, and he will catch you.
Absolutely. And again, the pressure being exerted onto this Rakan is not just the Rakan's health bar. Double B right now is struggling to find farm. Down 20 right now, already at the 4-minute mark. That's a very, very significant advantage if you're the Rakan Zaya. That's a lane that scales very well, but of course, you're just getting bullied out constantly. Sejuani's there as well.
Calling in the cavalry. K9 waiting in the bush. There's a ward there, control ward. K9 instead will just clear out that ward and back off. He was spotted out, but because of that, they're well aware that the control ward's still there, so that control ward will be cleared, and K9 will just go back into the jungle and go back to farming.
Yeah, As we have a quick little intermission here, I'm going to give a little bit of props to yourself. I was barely able to keep up with my eyes around the map, and you were able to talk through the entire thing. So give some props over to my my PBI play right here, flexing his muscles, able to show off what he's able to do. So
appreciate the compliment, but we still got action on the Rift. These teams still bringing it, even though they're bringing it quite slowly, even though this is their play style.
This is the fastest that we've seen this game like happen, though. We've seen what 4 fights already like occur during the course of this game. We might see one here. Nope. Never mind.
I was about to see another. Dio's taking a lot of pressure. I'm surprised it hasn't brought the attention of Garo towards that top side. This is the potential to go for that type of dive. But Fashamort instead posturing up towards the lane. He was posturing up aggressively as he heads over towards Dio, able to get a couple of shanks in, and he's going to get first blood in the 1v1.
Yeah, very, very strong. Again, that's the Aatrox pick right there. He's just bullying out even the Urgot, a ranged champion, should be pretty dominant in the early stages. Falshamore just showing the proficiency on this champion. Again, this is one of the fastest early games we've seen, and there's still only 1 elimination at 6 minutes.
And one goes through, but here comes the Rue looking to find the knockup on the Fluid, but Fluid barely able to flash away. Kingsland instead will back off and play it safe, but almost able to catch out Fluid, burning his flash in the process. And with the aggression that Fluid and Skeggy are putting, that could mean the attention of K9 will come towards the bot side. Dredge line only lands onto a minion. The rest of the squad choosing to back off, not going to find the snare on the return of the feathers. Back to laning.
Yeah, Fluid has a pretty significant CS advantage, and he did get a tower plate. So as you see, he's got about 500 gold over the Xayah right now. That is not something to be underwhelmed. I mean, when she backs, getting something like a BF sword and a dagger is very significant in terms of damage, especially for this Caitlyn who gets these auto crits. So, don't take that lightly. Certainly going to be a massive difference on first back whenever the bot lanes decide to do so.
And while we do have another law, I'm seeing it from Twitch chat. They've been trying to correct us forever, but I'm still not sure how to pronounce it. I see Fushamort, and I'm just going to wait for someone to criticize me again until we try and change the name one more time.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, I see. There's no R, so it's not Faushamort. It's just Faushamort or Foshamort or whatever you want to say. Mort. I'm going to call him Mort. How about that?
Good old Morty. Call him Morty.
Morty. I like that. All right.
But yeah, now the recall does come through from Fluid. He is able to not only get a BF sword, but gets a pickaxe on top of it. So he's bringing a lot of damage as he comes back to this lane. And considering Double B was not able to find that much CS, it is going to be a pretty big advantage towards Galaxy's bot side.
Most certainly. Let's see. What did he end up getting in the end? Oh, he got a BF and pickaxe. That's a ton of damage he's bringing back to this lane right now. This Rakan has to be very, very careful because he's actually going for the Spell Thieves. Went for that upgrade for the Frost Fang, so he has no armor, and his health is rather low. This Rakan certainly can be bullied here, as we see action topside.
Yeah, devastating charge going on to Dio. Gonna get those darkened blade slashes through this poor player at the top side. Dio. Oh, that just hurts to watch. That was straight up bullying. His flash was so close to coming off cooldown, but no cigar.
Yeah. Funny enough, also, is Garo burned his Ghost at the very end there to get the slight speed up to catch the Q, so that Mort wasn't actually able to secure the kill. I don't know if that was like a little bit of cheekiness from him or intended, but
yeah, we'll find another dredge line, but Trap did not proc in time. And mind you, Trap was buffed just recently. It's about, I believe, about 20 more damage for landing a headshot on Trap. So it does help the laning phase. It also does change up the way Caitlyn really focuses down on her kit, because Yordle Snap Trap before was, I believe, a second max. Actually, here comes an engage coming through. Kingsland able to find the knockup, trying to take down Fluid. Fluid, one more auto from going down, will fall in the process. Ace in the hole, only there for a show. Now Skeggy is all by his lonesome, has about 300 health remaining before he burns the flash. Gyro will show up towards the bot side, but wants to run away, gets hit by the Glacial Prison, falls back into the hands of K9, and already so much disaster going on all across this map as they look to find Skeggy as well, but Kingsland won't get it.
Yeah, the CC lockdown there from the Rakan in response. Nautilus didn't have the ultimate up, and I don't believe that the Q is up either. So when Rakan went in directly onto Fluid, enough CC came out. Xayah put out enough damage. It was very, very well done. They had a deficit. You're talking, this is a Caulfield and a cloth armor Xayah up against a BF pickaxe versus a Caitlyn. So that CC was absolutely imperative to hit the entire time. So very, very well played by King's Lane there. And then the roam from Where's Fun almost got them a third kill during that exchange. Just missed a couple of his ult shots, but this is what I wanted to see, was the roaming mid laner, having this push pressure, then roaming around the map with his massive range to try to help out his lanes.
Yeah, but then in top lane, I want to try and say the name again, but I'm also afraid. Foshamort looking to go after Dio, gets another chunk of health out of his pool, but what we're seeing over there is how much harassment Foshamort could pull out without taking much damage himself from Dio. He just bullies him out, doesn't take any damage, walks back out, and looks to repeat the process.
Yeah, it's terrifying the way that this Aatrox can do things like that, especially with the Conqueror. His extended fighting is just massive. See a little bit more on bot side as well. So the Kennen hasn't really gotten much involved in the game other than that first kind of attempted engage onto Where's the Fun. But he hasn't been around the map. We've got to see him try to get involved here, especially towards his bottom side. I think Rakan and Xayah are able to be aggressed on here, so I want to see him try to attack somewhere like that. He can also very clearly go top side because Foshamort's already getting a massive advantage, let alone if Kennen starts going there and putting even more pressure on.
And I am kind of bothered by Dio Roll for opting to go with the Ignite rather than the Teleport. If you are going to go for the Ignite, you're looking for a fast-paced kill lane, but he's not doing that. But, oh, wait, hold up. Here comes another fight. Onslaught of Shadows over the wall. Game 9, around the corner. Nothing going to come of this. Still peeking out, though. Dio Roll, got to keep your eyes on him. As he heads back to lane, he will be okay. Shelly will return to neutral. Overall, net gain of nothing for both teams.
From Dio, though, so now this Aatrox that's already been bullying him has the option to try to hard engage if he goes too far up. So just able to punish Dio a little harder. Again, trying to isolate this top lane, give him the advantage. Look at that damage he's able to do.
So much time and time again. You have to quell that Aatrox somehow, but I don't know how to. I don't know how. You bring a Sejuani up to the top lane, and really you're just bringing more money for him to cash in, because that will not bring enough damage to stop the relentless Darkened Blades that can come from Foshamort.
Yeah, and K9's doing a fantastic job tracking Garo around the map and just being wherever he's at to try to stop his ganks from happening. Garo just has the one kill to his name after the gank topside, and other than that, he hasn't gotten around the map at all on this Hecarim pick. Really needs some more gold to start to get active. He has the Warrior right now, so he has the ability to do so. He just needs to start getting some ganks off before this game gets too far that he's no longer effective.
So back into the laning phase. We have 1 minute until those plates get taken off. And overall, looking around the map, the plates are going even, 2-2 apiece. In the top lane and in the bot lane, 1 plate taken from Chosen. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's 2 plates going the way of Galaxy.
Yeah, really, really well played. Again, plates have been basically even through the entire game up to this point in all of them. This is, roughly 15-20 minutes is where one team starts to get a very significant lead. My question is which one that's going to be in this one. Xayah has a kill, but certainly Caitlyn is still very, very strong. Dio Roll is very good in some of these skirmishes, but Xerath is absolutely taking it to him in the laning phase, and Aatrox is a terror at the moment. On 2 items, he's going to be able to basically fight 1v3 the majority of the map. So I want to see which team wants to make the move to start pressing the advantage they have so far.
I mean, and it's a mid-game scaler. Aatrox, he gets going, he gets damage, he gets kills, he gets money. And there hasn't been much of an effort to really stop Foshamort from doing anything on this top side. He just keeps shoving in these waves and keeps bullying Dio.
Yeah, and again, what's terrifying to me also is just the fact that, like, even with an insanely powerful Aatrox, there hasn't been much jungle pressure here from Garo because he's just getting tracked by K9 just so well. And he's not coming top lane to push this advantage more, not trying to find these 2v2s with the Sejuani. Instead, he's trying to find action around the rest of the map, and it's just not working out for him.
Now both junglers are making their way towards the bot side. Dragon will be spawning quite soon. Chosen were able to get the first Drake as a mountain. The next Drake will be that ocean. Not at the best of times as the headshot goes through, lands onto Kingland. But you're starting to see a little bit of vision start to be established. Garo has a control ward. Over in that little pixel bush, the rest of the squad start to head down towards bot side. Garo is looking for an engage, and he's going to find it. Double B gets hit by the dredge line, but the root does come through. Featherstorm going into the air. Kingsland taking too much damage. Garo is able to take him down. Teleport goes through. Fostermore going to show up to the fight, but there's no one left to take down. Might as well take down some towers instead, maybe even a Drake.
Yeah, Caitlyn very, very powerful, able to put tons of damage on the Rakan even through the heal. Ooh, engagement mid lane.
Oh, a nasty slicing Maelstrom goes through, looking to make critical effectiveness of that ignite, but he does not get the kill. D-Roll instead will have to walk away, slightly defeated from his full-on engage, but meanwhile in the jungle, Fostermore looking to take it to K9. K9 bouncing around the K9s as well, running out of his jungle. Fluid able to get a bit more damage in. Piltover Peacemaker goes through, but the retaliation is huge. Ultimate coming out from Where's the Fun, looking to find the mark onto Fluid, but Fluid will be alive for the time being. One more lands and Fluid survives.
Yeah, very, very well done. Again, it was very, very close. Again, fighting in some of these corridors with Where's the Fun is exactly what you want to do. It just seems like Sejuani's not quite at that place where she's powerful enough, or at least tanky enough, to kind of deal with all the damage that was coming through the Caitlyn from the cannon as well. So well played by them. But again, they caught them on a bad back timer, so all of them backed left right now. They're going to give up this tower here.
That mid lane tower going down, it does enable Chosen to get some more forward vision going around the middle side. This stage of the game, it's beautiful to have. You want to start catching out those rotations. You want to watch where that jungler is going and know how to react on this map. Shally, the only neutral objective available at the current time, might be started up. Double B looking to take it. Chosen looking to initiate this as they send all 5 towards the Baron pit.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about on the bottom side of the map. It looks like it's frozen outside of the turret, and with that mid tower gone, all pressure right now is there for Chosen. They can take this, and even the fight afterwards might be winnable for them. Instead, going to pull off because of the Sejuani, or my apologies, because of this Aatrox and this Nautilus that are in the area.
You gotta be careful about this. They're looking to fight over Shally. Waiting for the team fight to break through. Looking to find the engage. Going deep is Kingsland, and they're getting a lot of damage in. But here comes the Onslaught of Shadows, and the slicing Maelstrom cuts through the entirety of Chosen. Fluid able to find a kill as well. Chopped down and destroyed at the hands of Garo is Kingsland as Galaxy walk through these structures of Chosen, feeling confident with the 4 lives they've just taken.
Where's the Fun just wasn't able to be in the fight. He was, at least outside of it. I think he might have backed at the time. And then, the fight was just completely taken over by Galaxy. Galaxy moved in and used these, 2 main frontliners in the Nautilus and the Aatrox. And they're so strong and have so much CC that they're terrified. The side of Chosen was terrified to take any sort of engagement. And then, of course, the AoE coupled Garo's on the Hecarim with that ultimate, and then coupled with the Kennen, so much damage, there was no way that Chosen was able to win that fight.
What a nasty slicing Maelstrom out of D-Roll. He just brought the fight and turned it completely around. It did look like Chosen had some life, but the damage that followed the engage just wasn't there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, in 10 minutes, that fight might be just a little bit different, because you're talking Rakan might have ways to advance without just dying instantly. Xerath might be around in the area. Double B might have more damage, but certainly right now, Galaxy certainly has the damage to take a lot of those fights. They have 4,000 gold lead. This is, again, the gold lead that I was talking about. Sometime between 15 and 20 minutes, one of these teams gets an advantage, and usually it's stuck for the rest of the game. So we'll have to see if that trend continues as the series progresses.
One of the good things about taking the Xerath in the mid lane is the wave clear it provides. This stage of the game, having the Luden's Echo should mean one-shots on the casters at least. The rest can be taken off with just popping the W.
Yeah, the Aatrox is low range, Hecarim's low range, Kennen is low range wave clear. He has to use his E and his W in order to do that. So Caitlyn is your main sieging tool, and Xerath can clear waves well before Caitlyn is in auto range. So it's a very, very good champion to prevent this from happening.
And now we head back to the split push. That tower is critically low as well. Only about a third of the health remains. You can see response coming out of K9 as he heads in this direction. Dio versus Hashimort, as well as K9. Knockups go through, but the engage will not be there. The rest of the squad of Galaxy rotating towards that bot side. They know that HP is very, very low for that tower, and they want to claim more of that local gold.
Yeah, really interesting dynamic here. So what they're using is this Aatrox pick is going to a side lane, winning a side lane, and then they're rotating everyone along with it to siege up on some of these towers. This is what happened top side just a little bit ago, just happened in the spot side. It's a unique way to play because Dio isn't able to keep Aatrox off, isn't able to, keep this, zoning tool away and keep his health high enough so that he can stick around for some of these tower plays. So a King's Landing and Double B could contest, but they'd be contesting into the bot lane and the Aatrox, and that's not something you want to be doing at this point in the game with the Aatrox having so much gold. So really smart decisions in terms of rotations here from the side of Galaxy.
And they're working it well with the clock, because they took down that bot lane, committing so many resources, could set up a counter Baron play. They take the recall immediately after taking the tower so they can reset, making sure that's not on the table for Chosen.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have plenty of gold advantage across multiple champions. You're talking 2,000 here in the top lane, about 1,000 there in the bot lane as well. The only real significant gold advantage that is had by the side of Chosen is this Xerath pick, but certainly isn't doing enough damage at this point to warrant the amount of gold loss on the rest of the champions, especially the Sejuani, already struggling to have like the tank stats necessary to survive in fights. And she's playing with 4 ranged champions, which means that passive is so much harder to stack on the E proc. So her life is very difficult when she doesn't have the ultimate up right now.
The troubles of dealing with the Xerath in the mid lane. Some of that poke is getting onto Fluid, and that is going to be the case. Fluid might need to get some lifesteal at a certain point just to make sure he doesn't lose too much if he's getting hit by these constant cues from Where's the Fun. Will take away from his build just a little bit, but sometimes that safety might be required as Garo comes on the backside. They can just charge in, only putting in the pressure to make sure this tower does fall.
Yeah, and again, they have to play around this Xerath. He's their best sieging tool and their best counter sieging tool right now. He can put pressure in areas around neutral objectives, and I really think that he has enough damage with the Oblivion Orb and the Sork Shoes that he should be able to at least, poke them out pretty significantly and kind of dissuade fights from happening. As opposed to Galaxy, they want their health bars high and they want to engage very fast onto this Xerath, onto this Xayah, so they don't have to worry about this poke damage continuing to rain on them.
Coming towards the Baron area, Chosen are not yet establishing vision. They just kind of walk towards the spot and then immediately back off, take the recall instead. And you can see that Galaxy have a strong control over that for the most part. It was swept out just a little bit. It was mostly on the bot side of the river. But now it's time to start establishing that forward vision towards the jungle, the red side of Chosen. Sounds weird to say that twice, but that is what it is.
It looks like they're running in for that now, working as a team, a 4-man unit here. They're doing a good job of it. King's Landing attempting to try to push them out with this sweeper, but he might just get caught. Have that happen.
Be careful here. A lot of gold is allocated onto Foshamort. So if a fight does break out, they do need to have them in those fights because there's only so much Garo can really provide. They're still going to go through it. They're able to get a catch onto Where Is the Fun. Out comes the slicing Maelstrom. Only going to find one stun. Kingsland is able to back out in time, but Where's the Fun finds Fluid. That's a huge damage dealer going down. Garo's going to follow suit. The shutdown going into the pocket of Dio, and there's still some life left into Chosen VLASMR.
Yeah, perfectly played by Where's the Fun right there. He got very heavily engaged on the hook from around the corner from the side of Skeggy. Was an amazing hook, but the following engagement just got completely shut down by the Hourglass, and Kennen wasn't even able to use his ultimate effectively in this lane. I'm not actually sure it actually ended up hitting anybody at all, and then the return kill onto Fluid was amazing by Where's the Fun. You just saw the power of having and peeling this Xerath in your composition.
That's what hurts. You're relying so hard on that slicing Maelstrom from D-Roll, and then after that, he doesn't really play as much of a pivotal role in these team fights as you would need. That's the thing when you go for these AP builds. You're really just an ult bot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then couple that with the fact that, like, Hecarim is going mostly AD, so he doesn't have tons of defense himself, able to dive onto the backline. So if he does dive and he's not able to find a kill like in this last fight, he also, loses quite a bit of gold, quite a bit of effectiveness as well. So it becomes difficult to fight if you're not finding these really solid, really clean engagements.
That Looks like a fight is just waiting to go off. Slicing Maelstrom is almost off cooldown. Chosen are starting to go forward. Watch out for that Slicing Maelstrom, looking to take the fight. Garo getting a lot of damage onto that. Sejuani K9 will go down. Here comes D-Roll looking to find Dio. Dio flashing away, cannot run away from the onslaught of shadows as Fluid finds a kill. Boshamore looking to pick up kills left and right with the World Ender. Will run after the life of Double B. Here comes the ace in the hole. The job is done. Double kill going over to Boshamore.
Yeah, really good contest there, but the fight afterwards went very, very poorly for the side of Chosen. They do have the Baron. It is still on Xerath, so they're going to lose a tower here. Might even have to give up Nexus Tower, but certainly with this Baron buff, they've stalled the game at least a little bit longer. They can wait for Xayah and Xerath to continue to get some of these items, continue to ramp up in gold, and start to, try to be able to fight off this team.
They're able to clear out the minions. Buys some time. Out comes the Glacial Fisher looking to find it on the Fushamort, and Fushamort will fall down. Shutdown going the way of Where's the Fun. Getting gold onto him, onto that poke champion is going to be something Chosen will definitely love.
Yeah, and again, their whole team is up right now, and they have 35 seconds of Boshamore. It wouldn't shock me to see them try to run for a tower here somewhere on the map. They're only down about 3,500 gold, which is certainly nothing, and the Xerath is getting very, very strong. Xayah also just picked up her Phantom Dancer, so she won't be burst out nearly as heavily as last time. And again, 1E from Xayah in that last fight, and this Aatrox actually goes down as well. So they're getting much, much more competitive in the fights. It is about how, the micro plays do happen. I want to see Garo or D-Roll really adapt and really try to find this Xerath. The commit super hard for it, because otherwise he's going to keep devastating these fights.
And it's starting to get rough for Galaxy in the process as well, because the way they want to put their fights is a 1-4 split push. The problem is their squad of 4 can't really afford to do that if they get engaged on. Dragon will go the way of Chosen VLASMR. He's able to take down and collect the Ocean Drake, evening it up 1-1 apiece. But that is the constant problem that the squad has to deal with. Galaxy, Fushamort being so strong, but being a split pusher at the same time as he chases down Dio. Auto after auto, all that regen goes through. He makes it look easy.
That's terrifying damage. But again, he's not anywhere near this fight. And so the 4-man tries to push up into the tower. Instead, they're just going to back off. Not sure if they're keeping track of the teleport timer, might be afraid of that. Might also just want to back up because they have the Baron still. And so they're not worried about getting their blaze pushed into. They can get a reset for most of their champions.
Yeah, last time I said Fushamort, and I'm trying to make sure it is right. Tell me the way, Fox. I want to say this man's name right.
I have no idea what this man's name is supposed to be. I'm sorry.
I apologize to the French Canadians out there. I'm doing my best for you.
My apologies.
Hopefully I'll be able to get it right eventually.
Yeah, maybe. Somebody give us a quick French Canadian lesson so that we can actually learn how to say this word.
But still a very high tempo game, going out both ways, can be traded in just a heartbeat. Posturing up forward, Galaxy are running it down the mid lane, as well as the top lane, going to be bouncing between those two, looking to shove in those waves as much as possible and try and nullify this Baron power play that can come out of Chosen VLASMR.
Absolutely. This Baron buff is going to be gone here any second now on Where's the Fun, so they can continue to siege. But the Xerath has tons of gold. He has the completed Zonias now. It is difficult to engage onto this team, so they might have to wait for another Baron to come up. Definitely secure that, and then start pushing and trying to siege up on these minions. It's going to be very difficult to deal with the Xerath up until that point. His poke damage is already starting to affect some of these fights, and Xayah isn't that far off of being a menace herself in some of these fights as well. So once she gets an Executioners and starts shutting down the healing from Aatrox, I think this game really starts to go the way of Chosen. Ooh, nice engagement.
Glacial Fisher goes out there trying to find the target they wanted, and it's Fluid. He drops in a heartbeat. A Brilliant engage to come out of Chosen. Gonna find Skagate on the backside as well. And with the bot lane down of Galaxy, Chosen are gonna march straight down the mid lane and knock at the doors of the base of Team Galaxy.
Just way too far up there. Not enough respect for the damage that come out from the side of Chosen, as well as the CC. You saw perfect Sejuani. It traveled just about as far as it could go without popping on its own, but caught Fluid there. He went down in basically a heartbeat, and an amazing Q barely catches Skeggy as he flashes over the wall, and the Ignite ticks down and gets another kill for them. Now looking at a 5v3, sieging up on the base, might crack the inhib here.
You can see D-Roll, he's really scouting out this team fight. He wants to use the Slicing Maelstrom, but he knows the gamble that could potentially happen if this slicing Maelstrom does fail. D-Roll is still chasing, still getting closer, still walking his way over. He does have the Lightning Rush available. Lightning Maelstrom still waiting for it to go through, but the rest of the squad of Chosen are going to slowly walk towards their base because they don't want to deal with Garo. They don't want to deal with D-Roll, but still pushing forward, straight down the mid lane. Reminder, exposed inhibitor in the mid lane for Chosen VLASMR. They might want to go for this instead of peeling off the chase ends, headed off to the jungle to steal away the resources of Chosen.
That they can. They can also throw wards down in a preparation for the Baron that's going to be up in less than a minute. Certainly they'll have prio on that particular item. They do allow backs here for a couple of different champions. So a little more damage on the Xerath, a little more damage on the Xayah. They're inching closer and closer to being dominant forces in the team fights. And again, they're very, very close here. So I want to see what happens. Sieging up on top side, that is a 4v3 right now with the Xerath is around, but certainly no tanks in the area.
You see right here, Ochaport looking to try and interrupt K9. He's going to have to use the World Ender, getting a lot of regen back in, going after Dio, but also taking a lot of damage himself, waiting for the ultimate to ring through, but unfortunately Fear Beyond Death does not land. The Glacial Prison will. It pops the Guardian Angel. It puts Boschemort in such a rough spot. Can he fight his way out of this as he swings his Darkened Blade one more time, trying to regen, but will fall at the hands of K9. But all but a diversion as Galaxy goes straight after the Baron, ringing through the right of the Arcane, looking to find its mark. Baron will go the way of Galaxy, but Galaxy want to continue pushing forward. Out comes the Onslaught of Shadows over the wall, able to gallop away will be Garo, but here comes the hook. It will land on the target they want. Pikachu used Thunderbolt, and it is super effective as Where's the Fun goes down. Double B has to burn his flash, and now it is time for the Baron power play coming out of Galaxy Gaming.
Very hard commitment there from K9. He'd stayed bot way too long, and they did get the kill on Aatrox, but Falcoman was able to just stall for so ridiculously long. There's no response from K9 on the Baron. Very good attempt to try to kill Garo by a King's Land on this recon pick, but just didn't have the damage. He's the support, can't put him in that situation. He goes down, and then the response there, Where's the Fun? Try to get some capture kills on the way out because they were fairly low, but a great hook from Skeggy prevented that as well. So fantastic play there from Galaxy, able to use this Baron. Hopefully they can start cracking some base here.
Whacking away at this dragon. They do have the Baron, so the power play should be beginning, but taking one more recall. The bot lane of Galaxy. Rather reset before they start that siege. And that's something a little bit curious. They're spending a lot of time just kind of walking around their jungle rather than starting these Baron sieges. And you don't want to waste this Baron timer. It is a golden opportunity to try and start finding those inhibitors.
Yeah, and even worse is like your one main split pusher in this Aatrox certainly doesn't have the Baron either. That's a big detriment to this team. So Aatrox, if he gets collapsed on, if he gets goes down in a similar fashion to what we saw just before the Baron, then certainly this team can take a 5v4 and absolutely win those fights.
Now here we go. Two going towards the bot lane. Garo looking to try and find the Onslaught of Shadows onto Dio, as well as the Slicing Maelstrom. 3 members there to whack away, make that 4 as Fluid picks up the kill. Top laner down. Galaxy run towards the base.
Yeah, again, clearing out wards with 2 members as well as having one topside to respond to the Aatrox is not a good look for this team. They're getting out-rotated right now. They're going to maybe lose this inhibitor tower as well. Xerath looking to put some damage down.
But here comes the engage, trying to find Fluid. Fluid running for his life. The swiftness is being used. Fluid so close to being tapped, but will be able to walk away. Dredge line going to land onto K9. K9 will back off. Oceanmort on the sidelines, looking to potentially find engage. Instead, will walk back towards that mid lane wave and continue the push, continue the siege, continue the pressure.
Yeah, and the Ocean Drake is helping Fluid to stay up here. He doesn't have any lifesteal right now. Might have something in the runes, but that's about it. He actually
Finds the charge onto Where's the Fun. Skeggy having to flash away to be able to stay alive. Siege still continuing, but Chosen are putting up a pretty good fight thus far.
Yeah, you have to be terrified of the Xerath. You saw what he just did to the support. That's a full tank Nautilus, and he shredded through with basically 4 skill shots. The ultimate, if it weren't for the heal and the Phantom Dancer shield from the side of Caitlyn, she might have gone down as well to the Xerath, just ulting onto her. So again, this guy doesn't get any weaker. He just continues to get stronger, especially once he finishes this next item. it's going to be I think it might be Rylai's, and when Rylai's gets completed, it's almost impossible to escape from a Xerath poke. So you got to be very, very careful. They're not using this Baron incredibly right now. They didn't crack another inhibitor tower. They finished all the outer bases, which gives them a little more gold advantage, but they're not super successful at the moment. They might have waited too long. They have to wait for a second Baron, and that's not a fantastic idea for the team.
Oh, D-roll. Gonna get caught out. Will use the Slicing Maelstrom in time. Stun going through. He goes golden, but without the Slicing Maelstrom instead. The Slicing Maelstrom slightly wasted, able to find another hook. Looking to find K9. Fluid raining in auto after auto as Foshamar looks to run away from Dio, but out comes the Fear Beyond Death. They're gonna find the pick onto the top lane superstar of Galaxy as Garo goes forward. He's taking all kinds of damage from Where's the Fun, and Chosen are surviving. 2-for-2 exchange, going dead even.
Yeah, the start to that fight was super, super good from the side of Galaxy because Aatrox was able to get directly in the face of Where's the Fun. With the barrier and his ability to run away just kept him alive. That E was pivotal. I think he hit a very, very good one to not get queued at the beginning of that. And of course, K9 just able to stall out. He has huge health bar and a lot of armor, and so he didn't go down very, very fast. So the Aatrox was able to be traded for that pick. A great job, 2-for-2 for the team that didn't have Baron, doesn't have the gold advantage, is massive for them. So we'll see whether Where the Fun is going to finish an item here. But that right there, I think, is the fight that starts to tilt this game back in the favor of Chosen.
Quite possibly. 3 Drakes on the side of Galaxy and a spawn of Elder Drake up next is the next big neutral objective that will be on this map if Galaxy choose to go for it. And that could also be something to close out this game, given the raw damage that we've been seeing come out of Galaxy in this late game with the Slicing Maelstrom and with this late game Caitlyn, who has her Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, and Static Shiv.
Yeah, Void Staff now completed for Xerath. That is a ridiculous amount of pen he has, as well as the AP. He was already tearing through health bars. This is just going to be even more terrifying. We do get a pause here, though.
Pause going through, trying to find out what's going on. It's just a ping problem. Hopefully that settles so we can continue with this match. Baron will be spawning in about under a minute, and so will Elder Drake. So this is where the mind games come in. You can end up pulling a team left and right, back and forth, all over the place, dancing around these objectives.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, is I think between both of these teams, neither one wants Elder, both of them want Baron. They both want to siege, they both want to move around the map, and the thing about Elder is it's not only a shorter buff, but it's also really beneficial for teams that want to fight a lot. Neither team has had really consistent engage, really consistent fighting over and over, and neither one ever seems very committed to a pure 5v5. So I don't think Elder helps nearly as much as the Baron buff in this case. So, to me, it's a consolation prize if you just completely whack out and don't put any wards around the Baron whatsoever. But certainly, I would expect to see a 5v5 at Baron before I would expect to see one of these teams try to trade Elder and then fight it out. I really just don't think that's either of these teams' style.
No, and I mostly echo your thoughts. I would love an Elder onto the Xerath,
yes,
but that's 1 out of 5. Overall, yeah, no team really wants to go for Elder. It's more if it's opportune, if it's in the situation, because Elder is the easier of the two to get, and it's the easier of the two to solo. So that's something that could be on the board. Maybe Galaxy could be around that Baron area, set up a lot of vision, bait Chosen towards it, and have 2 members taking on the Elder meanwhile.
Yeah, what I'd really like to see is maybe having Aatrox and just kind of solo the Elder Drake on his own. And when he gets that, he can then ult basically from mid lane into the Baron pit. So they start committing for the Baron right as Elder finishes. So if the side of Chosen wants to come in and they want to try to fight for it, they're basically going to have to 50-50 it with a Sejuani or a Xerath or something along those lines. And I just don't know if they win that right now. So that's a lot to bid on purely like a 50-50 if they have the vision around the pit. But I think it's really, really good for the side of Galaxy to do something like that. Right now, they're already set up for it as well. Aatrox split pushing on the bot side. Dio can't stand up to him. He's just too strong right now. So I think they're in perfect position if they get Hecarim to the top side of the map to pull exactly that play.
And also, in my personal opinion, if you are Chosen and you can't get proper vision and you can't see this Baron, or it's a huge gamble to get close to it because they're constantly pressuring you, I feel like it's an objective you forfeit quite quickly. It's one you don't risk the 50-50 on if you're the side of Chosen, because what history has shown us is that Galaxy still plays a slow style, and they wasted a Baron just a moment ago. There's a chance they could waste another as long as Where's the Fun can find the poke to persuade them not to siege.
Yeah, absolutely. Just need to make sure they have control in that pit. Again, none of their members are super strong and ready to brawl right now. I think K9's finally gotten to that point. Where's the Fun has been at that point for a long time, but I don't think Double P can stand up to anything that Fluid's doing. I think a King's Landing is still too squishy to pure engage into this team to try to pull some of these members away from the Xerath, away from the Xayah. And Dio certainly doesn't have enough in his kit to just tear through this team with the Conqueror. So I think it is very hard for the side of Chosen to find anything at this point.
Yeah, no kidding. More recalls coming out from Chosen. Gonna look to get some possibly last purchases before major team fight over this Baron does start breaking through. See, there was a Dead Man's Plate picked up by Garo, meanwhile.
Yeah, it makes it very, very fast. Should give him some more damage as well. You see, again, they're shifting towards this bottom side. They're actually going to go for the Elder Drake immediately, which is, again, mildly surprising for me. It must mean that they just want a super hard commit to controlling these mid objectives so that they can take the second Baron and just end the game off the back of that.
See the trap line coming through. Scuttle Crab will go down for Galaxy, providing that free vision. Chosen looking to posture up forward, but they're having a hard time finding the right spot to really find their ways into that fight. That trap line can be so demoralizing towards going anywhere near the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, they can try to blast cone over, but it is a difficult angle to hit. They might just have to have somebody like the Sejuani tank it. See fight here.
Here comes the fight. Out comes the Slicing Maelstrom going for the back line, but it's only going to really find K9. Dio looking to run away, but Where's the Fun is able to find Garo in the process. Look at the retaliation coming through. Is instantly able to find 3. Where's the Fun? Doing all kinds of work to keep his team alive, to keep this squad going. But Fauchamort will not give up without a fight as he continues with the Darkened Blade, swinging it left and right, but K9 will find another stun. Out comes the ultimate. Where's the Fun? But there is that revive going through. More damage. Ace in the hole. Fluid looking to back off and try and back up Fauchamort as much as possible, but K9 is at max health. It is time to run away if you're the squad of Galaxy.
Yeah, very, very poorly played fight from the side of Galaxy to start. They clustered up, walked around the corner, and had no one to dive onto Where's the Fun. So they just had to sit in front of him with the CC, with the Urgot, with the Sejuani, and it worked so well. You saw the triple kill come out for the Xerath immediately in the fight. That's the terrifying presence that he has in these small like alleyways that we found. Now, if it weren't for the Guardian Angel, this could have been a horrible fight for Galaxy, but fortunately, Aatrox was able to sustain through quite a bit of the poke Xerath was putting out, and he didn't end up going down. So, it looked really, really bad for Galaxy, but wasn't as bad as it could have been. Also, no Elder Drake goes the way of either team. Baron still on the board. There's still plenty to work with right now for Galaxy.
And it looks like a retaliation coming up Galaxy. They're going for the counter Elder, instantly committing to this, and they have a lot of damage that they can take this out swiftly, but they do need the back of the Fluid, who's just barely showing up right now. Start raining in those autos. About 5,000 health remains as the Right the Arcane starts ringing through, starts raining down. The rest squad is showing up, but the Elder Drake will go over to the Galaxy. Here comes the Depth Charge looking to find it on the back line. Double B will run away in time. Fluid finds the first kill. Dio runs on in, but needs to bail instantly as D-Roll is able to take it down. Double B will fall as well. Out comes the Glacial Fisher. K9 on the run in full retreat is Chosen, but not going to be let go. Galaxy are putting a stranglehold on this crew. They want to close out the game, and they're going to do it in style with a clean ace.
Yeah, they finally found the timing that they needed to actually take control of this game. They were able to get the Elder Drake right before the engagement came in from the side of Chosen. And so I think this actually might be the game right here. They were a little late to it. They weren't willing to just back off and gild the Elder and try to contest for the Baron. Instead, they're going to lose right here off the back of it. It was a great attempt, fantastic fight, 40-minute game from the side of Chosen, but just a little bit better played from Galaxy. They played the composition well. Fantastic game from both guys. Fantastic series all together.
They went so back and forth. Game number 1, stomp number 1. Game number 2, stomp number 2. 1-1 apiece. And this did not disappoint. These teams brought it. Where's the Fun? Showed the potential Xerath has. But ultimately, the composition of Galaxy was just too much to deal with. Fauchamort, I believe is how you say it now. The French Canadians can please correct me one more time. Put up a stunning display. Him being able to stand by himself for so long in so many of his team fights was the point that Galaxy would pivot on to find these victories.
Yeah, and he did it in game one too. The Renekton pick was very strong in the same vein. So like we see already that he is one of these premier like earlier game top lane champions. Fluid was really good when he had the opportunity to carry as well. So we see where the strengths of Galaxy are. On the opposite side, Where's the Fun had an amazing set of games on some pretty unique picks coming out with the Xerath especially. So there's strength on both these squads. We've seen the kind of controlled play that they're going to bring to the table. It's very, very cool to see. A lot of teams need to at least put some effort into planning against them because these are definitely two strong teams.
Yeah, already starting competitively for both of these squads, but only one could win, and that was Galaxy Gaming. Congratulations to them for picking up that win. But since you are the colorcaster, Fox, I gotta ask you, who was the standout player of the day? Who was a shining star on Team Galaxy in your eyes?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There's so many. Like I gotta give tons of props to like Fauschermore and Fluid. They both did great, but I really think Skeggy was honestly like one of the best performers on the team. Constantly hitting hooks, constantly getting some of these solid engagements. I really think he was immaculate through both. Even all that's such a tough one though.
Yeah.
Again, because like game two was also such a struggle for basically everybody. That's hard to not judge that as well.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I echo your thoughts. The
Mhm.
dude is a hook god. The Thresh was spectacular. Hook after hook after hook. Dead sentence, dead sentence.
Fans
Same
against
thing with the
Galaxy
Nautilus.
future. Nautilus, Thresh, Blitzcrank. Just can't let Skeggy on any of these hook champions.
If it has a hook, don't let Skeggy play it. He will make your bot lane miserable, and it showed in this series. But overall, congratulations one more time to Galaxy Gaming. But that's going to do it for us here on the cast. My name is Eric Desrex Beltran. My co-caster right here is Dean Rebel Fox Merrick, and we here at Upsurge want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for, I forget what league's playing. Someone right now. Sam, you got me right.
Upsurge Pro League.
Upsurge Pro League tomorrow, I believe, or UCL. One of the two. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night, everyone.